Chapter 28. It's hard to suppress the corners of your mouth. Originally, Gu just thought Chu Yining was prettier. They all had a pair of eyes, a nose, and a mouth, so how big of a difference could there be? However, after spending these few days together, Gu felt that Chu Yining was indeed a little different. How was he different? Yining, I found that you are a little different. Their foreheads were pressed against each other, the touch of their skin passing through each other. Gu really likes Yining's light body fragrance, which is a mixture of rose scent and light milk aroma. Chu Yining was also fascinated by the smell of Gu, the fragrance of mugwort mixed with a faint mint scent. That feeling made her fascinated. When I lean on him, I feel comfortable and safe. They leaned on each other, neither willing to let go. Gu held her waist to make it easier for her to bear the force. What's the difference? You haven't changed much, but I feel like you're getting prettier. The more I look at you, the better you look. I can see it every day, but I always feel like I can't see enough. Isn't that a bit abnormal? Chu Yining's eyes suddenly narrowed, remembering the question Xian Yu asked her today. This symptom sounds so familiar. Seeing Ji Yuyi's distressed expression, Chu Yining asked in a magnetic and royal sister voice. Do you miss her when you can't see her, and can't you see her enough when you see her? Ji Yuyi was very curious why Chu Yining switched to the third perspective. I always feel something weird. This she is herself, why not change she to I? Ji Yuyiren is honest and doesn't talk much. He is not good at pretending. A little bit. Do you want to see her, eat with her, and chat with her every day? A little bit. Do you think she is becoming more and more attractive to you and more beautiful? That's it. Chu Yining suddenly stood up, narrowed his eyes, and imitated Xian Yu's movements, stretched out a finger, and slashed downwards. Her fingertips rested on Ji Yuyi's head. At the same time, the corners of his mouth raised in an arc of inexplicable pride. The voice of the royal sister became brisk and full of energy. The scheming WA keeps touching your belly. According to my diagnosis, Mr. Ji Yuyi, you have fallen in love. Chu Yining's eyebrows curved, and soon, she smiled as beautiful as a flower. The girl was so happy. Laughter echoed in the car. Coo coo coo. Goose goose goose. It was the first time that Ji Yuyi saw her laugh so happily. Her laughter was crisp and very attractive, and it even made a goose-like sound afterwards. Chu Yining can now be sure of one thing. It's not that Ji Yuyi doesn't he like himself, nor that he doesn't he like himself that much, but he is sure that he likes himself. The premise is that Xiaoyu's diagnosis is reliable. Xiaoyu's analysis sounds reasonable, but Xiaoyu herself has never been in a relationship, so is her diagnosis reliable? So annoying, why is Xiaoyu still single for 27 years, 1 month and 12 days? Xian Yu, who was talking on the phone with Chu Yajun at the company, suddenly sneezed. Ji Yuyi naturally wouldn't believe in falling in love, as they had only known each other for a few days. After all this trouble, Ji Yuyi realized that he had not told his family that he was bringing Yining home for dinner today. Ji Yuyi quickly took out his mobile phone, opened WeChat, and clicked on the Happy Family group. There were several messages asking him when he would be home for dinner in the evening. Today, my grandmother and aunt will come to our house for dinner. As for the company group, he didn't even look at it. Like Chu Yining, he directly set the message to Do Not Disturb. However, although everyone was talking about it, few people dared to discuss it in the company group. 5:40 p.m. Family Fun Group. Ji Yuyi at the mountains and rivers are safe at plum blossoms are in full bloom at happiness and contentment at the passing years at Little Sierra at the founding of a country that loves my wife at. Lin Wanqiu, Grandpa, Grandma, Grandma, Aunt, Dad, Mom, Xiaoxi, I will take Yining home for dinner tonight. Picture. Ji Yuyi looked at Chu Yining, it takes about half an hour to drive from the company to my home at this time. Tell them we will be home in about an hour. Chu Yining responded, yeah. She is also watching the Family Fun Group. Yining at the mountains and rivers are fine at the plum blossoms are in full bloom at happiness and contentment at the passing years at Xiao Xiao at the founding of a country that loves its wife at Lin late autumn, Grandpa, Grandma, Grandma, Aunt, Uncle, Aunt Lin, Xiao Shi, we will be home in about an hour. The family group was silent for 30 seconds. The next moment. It exploded. It exploded. Crash. Group messages were flooding in. Because they were too excited and typing was too slow, typing was completely unable to express their feelings at the moment. The mountains and rivers are safe. Grandpa voice message, welcome evening, warmly welcome, today the old man will cook, look at my specialty, no one can grab the kitchen from me today. The voice of the old man grabbing the kitchen came from their voice. The kitchen is an important place, some women who cook terrible dishes should leave immediately. Plum blossoms in full bloom. Grandma voice message, wow. Evening is so beautiful, evening leaning on Xiaoyi's shoulder, like a fairy from the ninth heaven descending to the mortal world, as graceful as a startled swan, as gentle as a swimming dragon, leaning on someone. Cuckoo. Seeing this message from Grandma, Chu Yining smiled secretly. Grandma is so humorous and her metaphors are so interesting. Ji Yuyi rolled his eyes when he saw it. Chu Yining is described as a fairy who descended from the ninth heaven to the mortal world, as graceful as a startled swan and as elegant as a swimming dragon. This is who I am, a person. That's a good description. Don't describe it next time. Happiness and perfection. Grandma voice message, oh my god, can I see baby Yining today? I've already come here, but I haven't prepared any gifts. I'll give you a red envelope. What's going on? Why can I only send a red envelope worth 200 yuan? Please teach me how to send a red envelope worth 20,000 yuan. Xiao Xiao Grandma, the maximum amount you can send in a single red envelope is 200 yuan. If you want to send 20,000 yuan, you can only send it several times or transfer it. Xiao Xiao voice message, oh. Sister-in-law. My dearest sister-in-law. My sister-in-law whom I miss day and night, my most beautiful sister-in-law in the world, Xiao Shi welcomes sister-in-law with the greatest sincerity, come to my house for dinner, everything is delicious today. Liunian young aunt voice message, Yining is so beautiful, welcome home. If Yining has anything you like to eat, I will drive out to buy it now and you can have it when you come back. Loving wife Jungwo Jiu dad voice message, welcome Yining. Warmly welcome. Dad has occupied the kitchen and one tea let me cook, I'm so anxious. Lin Wanqiu Jiu Mar voice message, where is Yining baby now? Do you want auntie to pick you up? Oh, when I heard you were coming, I suddenly didn't know what to do. I'm so stupid. It's all Xiaoyi's fault. Yining, help me beat him up. Just pinch the flesh on his waist. If he dares to resist, come back and tell me. Ji Yuyi had a hard time suppressing the frown on his face. When he heard his mother's last words, he suddenly stopped laughing. Chapter 29. Call me wife every day and kiss me every day. Yes, you really are my mother. You don't know what you should do, so beating me up will ease the embarrassment. Am I not embarrassed? Yining, you're not really going to pinch me, are you? Ji Yuyi suddenly looked at Chu Yining, the corners of his mouth twitching slightly. Chu Yining's beautiful eyes flickered, her long eyelashes fluttered twice, she was eager to try, and obviously a little excited. But her tone was quite helpless, and she sighed. I dare not disobey what Aunt Lin tells me to do. Don't worry, you're my boyfriend now, I won't use any force. It's just a formality. Ji Yuyi was suspicious, really. Why do I feel like this girl is eager to try and wants to strangle me? I didn't provoke her. Real. Ji Yuyi felt that he had not provoked her, but in Chu Yining's heart, this guy had provoked her too many times. You take your sunny path, and I take my single plank bridge. What do you mean we will just be strangers from now on and we will never meet again in this life? What's the point of breaking up? Then pinch it, gently. Aha! As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Yining placed one hand on Ji Yuyi's waist. Ji Yuyi always had a bad feeling in his heart. No, this girl has a grudge against me. However, it was too late now. Chu Yining pinched the soft flesh on Ji Yuyi's waist. Pinch it tight. Screw. 360 degrees clockwise. The deep voice of the royal sister was filled with resentment. Let you say we go our separate ways. 360 degrees counterclockwise. Screw. You said that we would never meet again in this life. Let you break up. At this moment, Chu Yining's hand had loosened, and he turned to gently rub the soft flesh on Ji Yuyi's waist that he had pinched. Gently rub your fingers. But his eyes were red. Ji Yuyi originally wanted to cry out in pain, but when he saw Chu Yining's eyes were red and misty as she looked at little Pearl, he did not say anything. This girl. Yining, I want to discuss something with you. I've been holding this in my heart for a long time. What is it? Tell me. Today is the third day of our contract. I think when the contract ends, we can give each other a chance. An opportunity to renew the contract. If we are both willing to renew the contract, we will continue to be together. If one party is not willing to renew the contract, then forget it. This is my first time being someone's boyfriend, and I have done a lot of things wrong, but I will definitely try my best to make you believe that I am a man worthy of your trust. Ji took Chu Yining's hand, interlocked their fingers, and held it in his palm. I don't know if it's too much to ask for this, but I want to give it a try. Because I know that if we end it like this after the contract ends, I will definitely regret it. Can you add a renewal clause to the contract? Chu Yining looked at Ji, her face full of irritation, and asked in a deep and magnetic voice. When did I say that the contract cannot be renewed? Chu Yining suddenly felt that it was annoying when men were too responsible. It really affected her so much that she gave it away at the speed of light. Of course, the person who gives it for free doesn't realize that he is giving it for free, nor will he admit it. Really? Ji's eyes lit up. Don't be too happy too soon. It's not easy to renew the contract. I want to eat the food you cook. If it doesn't taste good, I won't continue. I also want you to pick me up from get off work, but I won't continue. I want you to call me wife 3 times a day. If you don't, I won't continue. I have very high requirements. It is impossible to give it for free. It is to set rules and regulations for him so that he knows how difficult it is to pursue himself. If I can't do that, I will refuse to renew the contract. I'm so principled. It's never given for free. You should also propose 3 conditions. This will be fairer. The royal sister's voice is a little thunder. I really want to Rua Tilder. I miss Muir Tilder. My standards are also very high. After all, this is my first love. If you can't do it, I won't continue. Tell me about it. Although the royal sister sounds calm on the surface, her ears actually perk up. Not a single word can be missed. The first rule is to say good morning and good night every day. If you don't, you won't be able to continue. The second rule is to eat at least 1 meal together every day. No more meals if you don't eat together. The third rule is to kiss at least once a day. If you don't, we won't continue. This is a high requirement. For someone like Chu Yining who has a lot of things to do every day, it's hard to ask her to say good morning and good night every day. The last thing you think about before going to sleep must be me. The first thing you think of when you wake up is me. It's too difficult. As the president of the company, Chu Yining has to attend social events and travel on business. Ask her to have at least 1 meal with me every day. It's too difficult. Last but not least, as a couple, it's too abnormal to only hold hands every day. Must kiss. Kiss every day. I just ask you if it is difficult. If you can't do it, don't continue. When Chu Yining heard this, he suddenly felt that what Xiaoyu said was a joke. I have never been in love, that is, I have never been in love. There is no basis for what you said. The requests I made were so difficult. I wanted him to cook, pick me up, mistreat him, order him around, and even respectfully call me my wife. What about him? It's a simple request. Who is giving it away for free? Xian Yu, who was talking to Chu Yejun on the phone, sneezed again. Chu Yejun, what's wrong with you today? Are you giving advice on love to some idiot again? You should have told me earlier that you didn't have any experience in love and shouldn't have given guidance to others. If you don't have the skills, don't take on the job. Now people are scolding you. Xian Yu pursed his lips. He only gave guidance to Sister Ning today. What went wrong? Chu Yining pretended to be deep in thought. A trace of confusion flashed across her face, and her deep and graceful voice sounded in Ji Yuyi's ears. I need to consider your request. Although I know in my heart that what the other party is asking for is simply a waste of time, I must not show it in my heart. Laughing in front of others. That's all you ask for. You're giving it to me for free, har har har. How embarrassing and humiliating it is. After all, he is your boyfriend, and you have to maintain his dignity. Ji Yuyi thought to himself that his demands were indeed too high. It's too difficult to think about it. Why not lower your requirements a bit? Her request was so simple, but mine was so difficult, it was indeed a bit too much. While Ji Yuyi was thinking, a graceful and royal sister's voice came. I agree. Ji Yuyi almost didn't react. Just agree. Yes, I agree. Seeing Chu Yining's difficult expression just now, I thought she would think for a long time. It's only been 30 seconds. Well, as expected of a top student, he thinks about problems quickly, even about love issues. Chu Yining, what about my request, do you agree? Ji Yi, I need to think about it too. Chu Yining's heart tightened. My request is so excessive. Will he feel embarrassed and have no dignity as a man? Having to cook and pick up and drop off people, isn't this equivalent to being a nanny and a driver? Even when ordered around like this, he is still asked to call her wife. It is indeed a bit insulting. Any man would find it difficult to endure such an insult. How about increasing the salary? Maybe 1.8 million a month? Would that be more acceptable? How about changing the conditions? These conditions are too harsh. He is my boyfriend, not a nanny or a driver. GU. I agree. Chapter 30. I regretted turning it too lightly. R. The icy little face was surprised, and the royal sister voice exclaimed. Agreed. Agreed. Gui raised the corner of his mouth and smiled brilliantly. Okay, honey, let's go home. Love is so complicated. Just now, Mr. Gu and Mr. Chu had a master-like duel, showing the essence of love. How can I put it, they are just two fools. On the other side, Xian Yu and Chu Yejun have almost finished their phone calls. Aunt Yijuan, I have almost finished reporting on Sister Yining's situation. Is there anything else? Chu Yijuan suddenly asked, what do you think of Yining's boyfriend? Xian Yu didn't even think about it and answered directly. He graduated from high school, has no car, no house, no savings, and his dream is to live off his parents. He served in the army for a few years and has decent skills, but there's nothing special about him. Then why do you think Yining chose him? Chu Yejun was talking about choice. It's not about liking each other, nor about being together. Chu Yejun also knew that Yining chose him just to fool him. But, does this girl really think she is so easy to fool? I don't know. I asked Sister Yining the same question, but she said that although Ji Yuyi graduated from high school, he was ranked first in his grade. He has no car, no house, and no savings because he dedicated his best years to the motherland. She also said that he is just a dependent, which shows that Ji Yuyi and his family are very open-minded. Sister Yining is too good at making sophistry. I can't argue with her. Xian Yu said angrily. The person on the other end of the phone fell into deep thought. On the first day they were together, Chu Yejun sent someone to investigate. The grass on the graves of those who were chasing Yining and the mastermind behind the scenes should have sprouted by now. But she knew very little information about Ji Yuyi. All the messages seem normal at first glance and hardly attract attention. However, once some details are connected, coupled with the fact that Ji Yuyi's method of killing those killers was extremely strange. The more Chu Yejun explored, the deeper he got into the abyss, and it was almost impossible to know where to start. Unless she used some trump cards, he wouldn't be able to find out whether Ji Yuyi was a friend or an enemy. Even she couldn't guess Ji Yuyi's identity. She understands that there are many things that you don't necessarily have to know. However, he must know whether this person is an enemy or a friend. What kind of person do you think he is? Chu Yejun asked. R. Xian Yu obviously didn't expect Chu Yejun to ask her such a question. He's actually okay. He's better at fighting than me, so he saved my face. But he has no ambition and only wants to be a security guard and slack off. He's not worthy of Sister Yining. Oh, by the way, this afternoon, he actually sent a message to the wrong group. It was so funny. Other aspects are okay. He's pretty handsome and sometimes quite humorous. Xian Yu was mumbling on the phone, and Chu Yijuan suddenly asked. If Ji Yuyi were to be your boyfriend, would you be willing? Xian Yu's heart suddenly skipped a beat. This. I. Although he only graduated from high school, he seems to be a cultured and graceful person. He used to be the top student in his grade, but he just didn't go to college. I have enough money, such as cars, houses, savings, etc., so I can support him. Who says women can't support men? I have read some chat records of Ji Yuyi's family group before, and his family is really nice. If I let Ji Yuyi be my boyfriend, what should I do? Xian Yu blushed and her heart beat fast. Just then, Okay, I'm just asking casually. Don't think about it. You have no chance. Sometimes I really want to call the police. Why are you asking this? Look at Xuanyu's red face. You caught them all and turned them into black carp. It's okay, go and get busy. Oh. With a snap, he raised his lips. No. Xian Yu hung up the phone. In the past, she would wait for Aunt Ijuan to hang up the phone. I'm a little bit grumpy this time. Xian Yu is actually quite pretty, with a delicate and heroic appearance. But she is too tall. She is 180 centimeters tall barefoot, and many boys can't hold her back no matter what shoes she wears. In addition, due to training, her arms have clear muscle lines. Her shoulders are broader than those of the average girl and her waist is thicker. So, when boys wanted to pursue her, she took off her coat and they all ran away. If scaring him off doesn't work, punch him again and he'll definitely run away. It is so difficult for this girl to have a sweet love. What, asking me such a question? After Chu Yejun asked the question, he had a guess in his mind. On the other side, Ji Yuyi was driving the car and Chu Yining was in the passenger seat. Chu Yejun called. It was not very convenient to answer the phone in the car, so Chu Yining simply turned on the speaker. What's up? Chu Yining's voice is pleasant and attractive, but the voice on the other end of the phone is also very penetrating, and has a hint of majesty more than Chu Yining's. Ji Yuyi drove quietly, trying not to make any noise. Yining, go pick up Ian from school and come home for dinner before 6:30. I'm not going home for dinner. You're not going home to eat. Chu Yejun's voice was somewhat displeased and questioning. The atmosphere in the car was inexplicably depressing. Anyway, Ji Yuyi won't say a word. The mother-in-law has always been the most difficult creature to deal with in the entire biological world. It's better not to provoke. Sister Chu Yining said in a low voice. I'm going to my boyfriend's house for dinner tonight. On the way now. There was silence on the other end of the phone. About 30 seconds passed. Then I won't cook dinner. You can pick up your sister and go to your boyfriend's house for dinner. With a click, Chu Yejun hung up the phone. Obviously emotional. Chu Yining's expression was indifferent, but it made Ji Yuyi a little curious. I asked casually. Your mother? Chu Yining glanced sideways and replied calmly, your mother. Ji Yuyi touched his nose. It sounded weird, like someone was cursing. Yining, are you going to pick up your sister now? I have heard from Yining a long time ago that she has a younger sister who is just 18 years old this year and is in her third year of high school. If you calculate it this way, like Ji Yuxiasi, she is also 18 years old and in her third year of high school this year. Is there enough time? If it's too late, I'll let Xiaoyu pick her up. My sister is important, but I can't be late when meeting my parents for the first time. Which school does your sister go to? Number for middle school. What a coincidence, my sister is also in number for middle school. Chu Yining asked curiously, your sister? Ji Yuyi glanced at her and replied calmly, your sister. Chu Yining suddenly regretted that he had turned it too lightly. Chapter 31 Sister-in-law development plan was intercepted. At this moment, Ji Yuyi's cell phone rang. Ji Yuyi turned on the external speaker. Hello, Mom. Auntie Lin. Chu Yining called out coquettishly from the side. Ji Yuyi almost thought he had heard it wrong. Why did the voice sound so soft and sticky? Oh, it's Yining baby. Where have you been? We are at the Xiana Bridge on Huachang Avenue. Oh, that's quick. Son, see if it's on your way. If it is, go to number for middle school and pick Ceci up. If not, let her take the bus by herself. Auntie is going to be busy now, you guys just focus on driving. Then Mother Jiyu also hung up the phone. Judging from her tone, she seems to be very busy at the moment. I don't know what she is busy with. The women of the Jiyu family have a very low presence and are not presentable when it comes to entertaining guests. What can they do? It's nothing more than sitting in the living room, eating melon seeds, watching TV and eating fruit. The kitchen is a very important place, don't even think about setting foot in it. On the day Ji Yi came back, Gu's mother begged her father to give her the chance to cook a dish. However, he was ruthlessly rejected and expelled from the kitchen. This is the family throne of the old Ji Yu family man. What a coincidence. Your sister and my sister are both at number for middle school, waiting for us to pick them up. Let's go. It is true that you have to take a date to pick someone up at number for middle school, but it's not a big problem. The other side. Beijing number for middle school. School ends at 5:30, and the school no longer allows evening self-study. Students study on their own to prepare for the college entrance examination. It's very stressful. Of course, not everyone is under a lot of pressure. For example, GUCIC is a top student in number for middle school and is consistently ranked in the top 3 in the grade. With such grades, she can apply to any prestigious university at home or abroad. However, good grades do not mean that someone is hardworking. GUCIC is a real slacker. There is another type of people who have very little pressure. That means admission by recommendation. For example, Chu Yen has been recommended to Peking University. After school. The classroom is empty. There is a tablet standing upright on the desk against the wall of the classroom, and there is a small keyboard underneath the tablet. The girl sitting in the seat was looking at the screen intently, tapping the keyboard with her slender white fingers. Another girl walked up to her and reached out to lower her bangs that were tied up by her ears. The fine and smooth hair falls naturally. The wind blows gently outside the window. Their hair danced in the wind beside the girl's ears. Maybe the hair jumping around her ears was a little itchy, so the girl lifted her long hair and tucked it behind her ears, revealing a slender neck and thin collarbone. Like a gardenia, it is fragile. The sun sets. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on her face. The girl became the most beautiful one. GUCIC stood beside Chu Yen's desk, staring at her for half a minute. Even she, a girl, was attracted by her beauty and couldn't take her eyes away. What does this mean? This shows that girls are 7 times more lustful than boys. GUCIC sat down next to Chu Yen, with one hand flat on the desk and the other supporting her chin, her little mouth pouting with a somewhat depressed expression. Xiaoxi, you are here. Come and help me take a look. Is this description okay? Don't write the novel yet. Something big has happened. Chu Yen stopped typing, turned around and looked at GUCIC in confusion. The soft light of the setting sun fell on her shoulders, making her skin look as white as satin. The lines of the collarbone were dyed with a light golden color, and the long hair fell softly on the shoulders. Where the golden halo reflected, there was a small bright red mole. The small mole is right where the neck and shoulder meet. The pure and sweet face becomes more charming because of this small mole. GUCIC looked at this beautiful scene and couldn't help but sigh. Something really happened. My plan to train my sister-in-law was intercepted. I have developed this. I really can't accept that she is my sister-in-law after all. The most important thing is that my Yen is so beautiful, gentle, kind and lovely, it would be a waste of talent if she is not my sister-in-law. But now my brother has a sister-in-law. And my sister-in-law is also very beautiful. What to do with one word? GUCIC admired Chu Yen's beauty and found that she was somewhat similar to Sister Yining. As expected, ugly people come in all shapes and sizes, but beautiful people are all of the same kind. GUCIC supported her chin with both hands, pouted her lips even higher, and looked sullen. You are my brother's designated girlfriend. Now he has a girlfriend. What will you do? With a swish. Chu Yen's face was flushed. He lowered his head and didn't dare to look at Xiaoxi. She has never even met her designated boyfriend. The young girl is in love and has many dreams and aspirations for her predetermined boyfriend. In addition, Xiaoxi often whispered in her ear that her brother was tall, handsome, very gentle, and his cooking was super delicious. Gu's family members were also very nice, including grandparents, uncles, aunts, and Aunt Xiaoxi. They all treated her like a baby and doted on her. In short, as long as you marry her brother, you will be super happy. Being influenced by this every day, and being a girl with a particularly delicate mind, she already has many fantasies about her predetermined boyfriend. In short, I imagined him to be like the male protagonist in my novel. The kind that makes your heart beat faster. Didn't Brother Yi just come back 3 days ago? Chu Yen asked in a low voice. Too popular. GUCIC looked unhappy. You don't think that what I told you before was bragging? My sister-in-law hasn't even tasted the food my brother cooks, but she already seems determined to marry him. If she has, she won't let go even for a second, and you won't have a chance. 3 years ago, Gu Xiaoxi had just entered high school and met Chu Ian. At that time, her plan to train her sister-in-law had already begun. It's such a pity that such a good girl doesn't he marry into our Gu family. From my facial features, I know that he is destined to be with the daughter-in-law of our old Gu family. At that time, Gu Yi was serving in the army, and apart from reporting his safety every year, there was almost no news about him. They couldn't find out anything no matter how hard they tried. It was very mysterious. Gu Xiaoxi boasted in Chu Ian's ear that her brother had gone to carry out a mysterious mission and was very capable. Anyway, he kept blowing it loud and loud, making it sound really awesome. In addition, Gu Xiaoxi's setting for Chu Ian is, you are his designated future wife. Listening to the stories made up by Gu Xiaoxi, Chu Ian felt particularly involved. The girl was already in love, and with the constant whispering in her ears, she had completely accepted the identity of the designated future daughter-in-law. You can say that. As long as the time is right, Gu Xiaoxi will directly send Shi Xiangxiang's words to Gu Yi's bed, and the matter will be done. Pity. Man proposes, God disposes. Things are moving too fast. Her brother is bringing his girlfriend home for dinner today. It would be fine if this girlfriend was a bad one. The key is that my sister-in-law is as beautiful as my baby Ian. Chapter 32. Isn't this my sister? We may not get married even if we are together, and we may not be together until the end even if we are married. How about I just wait for him slowly? Chu Ian lowered his head and spoke weakly. She has a gentle personality and will not fight or compete. When she hears that the person she likes has been snatched away, her first reaction is to wait silently. Gu Xiaoxi shook her head, supporting her chin with both hands, her eyes revealing helplessness. You don't understand. The men in our Gu family are all faithful to one person. Once they get married, it's for life. Then, what should we do? A hint of nervousness appeared on Chu Ian's sweet little face. This matter was my mistake. If you can do it on a small scale, I can think of another way. But it's probably impossible to do it on a large scale. Chu Ian's cheeks flushed, and surprise appeared on her innocent and sweet face. Then she shook her head like a rattle. No, I don't want to be the younger one. Okay then. Gu Xiaoxi let out a long sigh. Accept your fate. The sister-in-law training plan failed. 3 years of hard work went to waste. The best words in the world are going to be given to another man. The only advantage is that Sister Yining is 10 years older than Xiao Ian, so she can have a baby earlier and give me a little niece to play with, hee. My brother and sister-in-law are both so good looking, so the baby they give birth to will be so cute. Holding one in the left hand, holding one in the right hand, going out on the street, I envy them to death, hee. The sister-in-law training plan is over. As fate would have it, forget about my brother. Although you haven't met yet, you are one of the people in the world who understands him best. When you look for a boyfriend in the future, follow my brother's standards. Chu Ian lowered his head and said nothing. No one knew what he was thinking, but his expression showed visible disappointment. It took her 3 years to get to know a man. Get to know every little bit about him. She embodied all the characteristics of this man in her novel. Sketch every stroke and describe every word. She fantasized about sitting next to him one day and listening to him tell the stories he had experienced. That was his growth, and she wanted to record it stroke by stroke and witness it with words. She wanted to be his little wife. Secret love is not painful at all. What is painful is that you don't even know I exist. Is it over like this? Chu Ian didn't say anything. He lowered his head with his bangs hanging down, covering half of his face, making it impossible to see his expression. After a while, there is a sound of water dripping. Snap, snap. The tears fell on the desk and keyboard, and shattered with a snap. The crystal tears scattered, so charming in the afterglow of the setting sun. Gu Xiaoxi's heart skipped a beat. Yang, why are you crying? It's all my fault, it's all my fault. In fact, a lot of things are just made up by me. I don't know what my brother did during the 7 years he disappeared. The missions and so on are all my own guesses. There is no basis for them. My brother isn't that great. He's not much better than a handsome guy, a good cook, and a responsible guy. Well, he doesn't have that many advantages. You'll definitely meet someone better in the future. Gu Xiaoxi patted her head. It's all my fault for fooling people too much. Taking advantage of the young and naivety of his best friend, he tricked her into becoming his sister-in-law. He succeeded in tricking her, but it turned out that his sister-in-law was someone else. The main reason is that Gucic is really moved. My best friend Ian is 176 centimeters tall and thin, with a very small face and a very good body proportion. Any girl would be envious of her. More importantly, Ian baby has the legendary 36D, a figure that even the school uniform can't cover. I really don't know what kind of genes can give birth to such a perfect girl. Besides, Ian has a very good personality, soft and sticky, speaks softly, and is super gentle. Such a good girl, of course you should take advantage of her youth and trick her into becoming your sister-in-law. Hey, now there is a problem. Under my persuasion, Ian seems to have fallen in love with my brother. Woo-woo, I'm already broken up before we even started dating. I already have no chance before people even know who I am. Chu Ian sobbed softly. This is the girl's first love. Although it was just a secret crush, but for 3 years, he was her favorite male lead for 3 years. All her longings and expectations for love were about him. How come it ended before it even started? Wow. Who is Brother Yi's girlfriend? Do I really have no chance at all? Chu Ian also has her own pride. In terms of appearance and figure, except for her sister, she has never seen anyone better than herself. I have worked very hard and have been admitted to Peking University. I will study hard, work hard, and become an excellent writer in the future. You can't say there's no chance. You can only say you'd better give up on this idea. Yi Yang, you are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen, but my sister-in-law is no worse than you, so you'd better give up. I don't believe it, unless it's my sister. Do you have a photo of Brother Yi's girlfriend? Gucic took out her cell phone and opened the Happy Family group. Suddenly, something popped into her mind. Oh, my sister-in-law's name is Yining. What is her last name? Chu. Chu Yining, Chu Ian. Could it be that? Chu Ian searched through the chat history and found the photo that Gu Yi had sent in the group. It's a photo of the interior of the car. There was a super beautiful girl, resting her head on Brother Yi's shoulder. Hey, that's weird, why does she look so much like my sister? But my sister never wears this kind of clothes, wait. The next moment, Chu Ian's mouth opened into an O shape. Isn't this my sister? The other side. Qingxing building. Top floor, chairman's office. A middle-aged man sat in the boss chair, supporting the seat with one hand, holding a cigar in the other hand, and crossing his legs. Next to him was a sexy beauty in fishnet stockings, with her slender hands on his shoulders, kneading and massaging him. The man was puffing smoke and had a ruffian look on his face. He was the chairman of Qingxing Group, Zhangdu. Boom boom boom. There was a knock on the door. Hearing the knock on the door, Zhangdu patted the beautiful woman in fishnet stockings on the shoulder. The beautiful secretary understood immediately and immediately knelt down and crawled under Zhangdu's desk, hidden between the two spans of Zhangdu. As Zhangdu's expression became more ecstatic, he shouted to the door. Come in. A man in a suit and sunglasses walked in. Mr. Zhang, the people you arranged have already arrived at Beijing number for middle school. They are now illegal residents, so no matter what problems they encounter, they can't be traced back to us. Do you want them to start right away? Zhangdu took a puff of his cigar, puffing out smoke, doubling his happiness and making him feel ecstatic. Are you wondering why we should take action against Chu Yijuan's daughter? The man in sunglasses and a suit is named Zhang Li, the nephew of Zhangdu and now one of Zhangdu's right-hand men. Zhang Li nodded and said in a deep voice, Boss Zhang, I do have doubts. The person who plotted against Chu Yijuan's daughter last time, along with his group, has collapsed. Hundreds of people have suddenly disappeared. I'm afraid they are in great danger. This Xinchen group and Chu Yijuan are far from being as simple as they appear. Chapter 33 Chu Yining's vulnerable side. Zhangdu took a puff of his cigar, puffed out smoke, and chuckled. Ali, you don't have to call me Mr. Zhang in my office. Uncle. He. Ali, this matter is not as simple as you think, nor is it that complicated. As long as we succeed, someone will help us. The two daughters are Chu Yijuan's Achilles heel. What we have to do is to cut off one of her daughter's arms or legs as a token of our loyalty. After the matter is accomplished, someone will naturally help us. Zhang Li was so anxious that he couldn't help but take 2 steps forward. When he heard a slight noise coming from under Zhang Du's desk, he stopped in a hurry. Combined with his expression just now, although he was using a cigar to cover it up, it was obviously not just a cigar. My uncle is almost 50 years old, but he is still as good as ever. If I can bring him a few more beauties when I have the chance, wouldn't I be able to rise to a high position? Uncle, think twice about this. Chu Yijuan's daughter has someone protecting her. If we fail, she will definitely take revenge on us. How can our Qingxin group be a rival to the Xingchen group? Zhang Du shook his head. This time it's absolutely safe. No need to say more. Besides, do you think we have a choice? We can't afford to offend Chu Yijuan, but can we afford to offend the person above? After this is accomplished, Qingxin group will definitely make further progress, and our bad debts will be written off. If I don't succeed, I'll die. I don't believe I can't remove one of her daughter's arms. Zhang Li didn't say anything, just nodded and walked out of the office. After Zhang Li left, the beauty in fishnet stockings crawled out from the desk on her knees. Looking at the beautiful face of the woman, Zhang Du raised his lips in an evil arc. Come out, Xian. Your husband has left. The other side. Ji Yuyi's phone rang. He was driving. Let Chu Yining take a look. Chu Yining saw that the phone number displayed a string of strange characters and did not answer the call directly. Ji Yuyi, do you want to answer it? Ji Yuyi glanced sideways and then found a place to park the car. Answer the phone. A voice came from the other end of the phone and Ji Yuyi frowned. Ji Yuyi, a group of killers appeared in number for middle school, all of them are illegal immigrants. Their target is not you, but your sister. You are over there, just take care of them. All your permissions are still there, just use them if you need anything. This time the killer's target is the school. Once a serious incident of casualties occurs in a place like a school, it will cause a huge negative social impact. Ji Yuyi happened to be here, and if he could take action, the negative impact could be minimized. Judging from the tone of the phone call, these killers are just minor characters, so Ji Yuyi doesn't need to worry too much. What surprised Ji Yuyi was that even though he had retired, his authority was still there. It seems that something is completely tied up. The person on the other end of the phone has hung up. Ji Yuyi frowned slightly. Since the boss said that the killer was not coming for him, then they had no reason to target Xiaoxi. If anyone dares to target his family through Ji Yuyi in the capital, then any clues will be wiped out by the organization. Since it's not Xiaoxi, could it be Ian? Considering the last time Yining was killed in an attack, it is likely that the same situation will occur this time. Back in the car, Ji Yuyi spoke in a deep voice. Yining, there is a killer in number for middle school, he should be targeting Ian. What? Chu Yining's delicate body trembled suddenly, a chill flowed through her body, and her eyes were fixed on Ji Yuyi. Don't worry, they are just some minor characters. Xiaoxi is also over there. I will get off the car and rush over now. You drive the car to the gate of number for middle school in 20 minutes. Sensing her nervousness and fear, Ji Yuyi reached out and rubbed her hair. The touch was delicate and smooth like silk. Since the boss informed him that the matter could be easily resolved, it meant that there was no danger in it and the enemy was only of a low level. Even if he didn't take action, with the organization's ability, he could remotely control and kill these people instantly. But the social impact it caused is very bad. Ji Yuyi was not worried. Since he had all the authority, he could kill these people instantly from thousands of miles away. However, Chu Yining was frightened at this moment. The girl clenched her fists, supported herself on the dashboard, and her whole body was shaking. Because Chu Yajun said that all the people who murdered Yining last time, including the mastermind, have been dealt with. Chu Yijuan would not lie. So why is there another batch coming? It is obvious that the real mastermind is hiding in the dark, and he is at least at the same level as Chu Yajun, or even stronger. And his purpose will obviously not be exposed before killing or maiming the sisters Yining and Ian. This person is insidious and ruthless. He uses Chu Yajun's weak spot as a bargaining chip and will never expose himself until his goal is achieved. Feeling Yining trembling violently, Ji Yuyi knew that she was worried. Listen to me, don't be afraid. Ji Yuyi embraced Chu Yining with his big hands, and felt the trembling of the delicate body in his arms. Ji Yi hugged her tightly. Gently kiss her forehead. It'll be fine. After he finished speaking, Ji Yi got out of the car and disappeared quickly. After Ji Yi disappeared, Chu Yining's eyes turned red, and the tears she had been holding back finally fell. The Chu family declined. The Chu family's bloodline now consists of only 3 people: Jun, Ning, and Yang. Ian was young, and Ijuan and Yining both doted on her and took good care of her. But even so, can't they even protect their own relatives? The person behind the scenes just wanted to force Chu Ijuan to compromise. What do they want? The scariest thing is that they have no idea what the other party wants. He seemed to want to kill one of Chu Yujin's daughters, and then tell her that he had the power to kill her and make her not even know who he was. They were targeting him. Chu Yining was not afraid, but they were targeting his innocent sister who was only a senior high school student. Chu Yining was shocked and terrified, with emotions of anger, fear and hatred intertwined. At this time, she was no longer the high-handed icy female president, she was just an older sister who wanted to protect her younger sister. No matter who you are, I will find you out and grind you to dust. Chu Yining followed Ji Yuyi's instructions, sat in the driver's seat, started the Great Wall Cannon, and drove the car to the gate of number for middle school 20 minutes later. At the same time, she called Xian Yu. Xiaoyu, investigate who ordered the assassin from number for middle school, and arrest the mastermind immediately. Don't let him die. At any cost. On the other side, Ji Yuyi touched the bone of his left wrist. There is a bone button at the condyle. Click it and the permission will be enabled. He first began to invoke holographic authority. At this moment, the images transmitted by the satellite were directly input into his brain, and at the same time, the content of their conversation was deciphered. There were 6 killers in total. 2 men in suits pretend to inspect the leadership. 2 cleaning ladies, pretending to be cleaning, were walking towards Ian's classroom. 2 security guards were guarding the school gate. Chapter 34 Master, please start the class. According to their plan, the cleaning lady would take action first while the man in the suit would watch. If the attack failed, the man in the suit would go up and finish him off. If both the cleaning lady and the man in suit fail, the security guard will wait for them at the school gate. We should be able to make it in time if we hurry over now. If it's too late, we'll have to resort to unconventional weapons. The use of unconventional weapons on campus may cause some unnecessary trouble, but if there is a possibility of danger, there is no point in caring too much. Keep dynamic holographic projection at all times. Ji Yuyang activated the armor authority, and a stealth fighter appeared above his head. The fighter dropped a set of equipment. Ji Yuyi opened his arms, and the next moment, several mechanical threads as thin as willow branches were wrapped around Ji Yuyi's body, and then the mechanical threads were connected to Ji Yuyi's wrist bones. All the mechanical threads retreated, finally forming a watch-like device that was installed on Ji Yuyi's wrist. The next moment, Ji Yuyi's figure flashed and his speed reached the extreme. The other side. 2 female cleaners locked onto Chu Ian's location. They threw away the brooms in their hands and walked straight towards Chu Ian's classroom. Head bowed, sleeves tightened. The sharp tip of the dagger protruded from the sleeve. The 2 of them walked faster and faster. Ji Yuxiesi was the first to realize something was wrong. Why were the 2 cleaning ladies lowering their heads? And they had nothing in their hands, but they were walking straight towards them. Ian, something is wrong. The next moment, Ji Yuxiesi noticed the reflection of the dagger's tip on the female cleaner's sleeve, and she suddenly yelled, Ian, run! Without time to explain, Ji Yuxiesi pushed the desk to the classroom door, blocking the front door. Yang, go block the back. Upon hearing this, the 2 female cleaners rushed to the back door. The next moment, the front door opened wide and Ji Yuxiesi pulled Chu Yining and ran away. Running and shouting. It's on fire! It's on fire! Everyone, come and help put out the fire. At this time, the other party has a knife or even other dangerous weapons. If you shout for help, most people will just turn around and leave. If you shout, fire, most people will come over. The 2 female cleaners looked unhappy. They had been tricked. Originally, they only needed to kill Chu Ian, but now neither of them wanted to let him go. 2 female cleaners were chasing after him. The first thing Chu Ian and Ji Yuxiesi did when they ran out was 2 men in suits who were pretending to be patrolling on campus took a shortcut and surrounded them. The school was over now and most people had already left. If they ran to a deserted place, they would surely die. Gu Xiaoxi immediately pulled Chu Yiyan to the school playground. At this time, there were only people there in the school. Fork in the road. One of the men in suits suddenly jumped out. A wrench slipped off his sleeve and fell into his hand. Then the man in the suit picked up the wrench and smashed it hard at Chu Yiyan's elbow. Their mission is not to kill, but to be disabled. The wrench was aimed at Chu Yiyan's arm joint. If it hit, Chu Yiyan's joint would definitely be broken. All joints in the human body are covered with a layer of periosteum, which is full of nerves. The slightest injury will cause excruciating pain. If it were broken, the pain would be unimaginable. Chu Yiyan was originally thin, with slender arms and barely any flesh at his elbows. He was hit by this blow and was probably half dead. The man in the suit had ambushed in advance, and then suddenly jumped out and attacked directly without any delay. In an instant, Chu Yiyan was so frightened that his soul almost faded away. She watched the man in a suit in front of her raise a large wrench towards her and then smash it towards her. "I'm going to die," was the last thought in her mind. Chu Yiyan stood there, not knowing what to do. The man in the suit appeared too suddenly. Facing the big wrench that was about to hit her, Chu Yiyan chose to close her eyes. 2 lines of clear tears slid down from the corners of my eyes. After a moment, tears began to fall like pearls from a broken string. "Woo-hoo, Mom, sister, I miss you and I don't want to leave you. Woo-woo, Brother Yi, I am your designated wife. I haven't even met you yet, and before you know my existence, I am about to die. I can't bear to let you go. Woo-woo. My novel is not finished yet, and there are still many young readers waiting for my updates. I don't want to die." Chu Yiyan's heart was almost broken. She really didn't want to die. In this world, she had her mother, her sister, Xiaoxi, her brother Yi, and her little readers. She couldn't bear to leave. "Woo. Mom, sister, I miss you. Brother Yi, did you know that you have a wife who has been in love with you for 3 years? My little readers, the story of Ji Yu Yang and Chu Weiwei has no ending, I'm sorry." Ji Yu Yi looked at his sister-in-law with interest. She really is Chu Yining's sister. She is only in high school, but her appearance has grown into a stunning beauty. She has a small face, big eyes, a high nose bridge, and a small mouth with natural lip color that is bright red and crystal clear. Her eyes are very similar to Chu Yining's, both are those beautiful peach blossom eyes, which blink like peach blossoms in bloom. Wearing a school uniform, she is full of youthful vitality, and her tearful look makes her pure and sweet face look so pitiful that it is easy to arouse a man's desire to protect her. Hearing her mumbling, Ji Yu Yi couldn't help but smile. This girl is different from her sister. Her sister fell in love for the first time at the age of 28, but she fell in love at the age of 18 and had a crush on that person for 3 years. This means that this girl has liked that person since she was 15 years old. Ji Yu Yi was a little curious about who the brother Yi she was talking about was. With her conditions, he still has a crush on someone. This guy is really amazing. "Master, please start the class. If you have the chance, you must get to know him and ask him for advice on how to fall in love. Love is such a complicated thing." He just couldn't guess what Yining was thinking. "Sometimes I feel like she has a crush on me, and sometimes it seems unreal. It's not that I can counter the 3 major illusions in life. My cell phone rings and she likes me." He felt that Yining seemed to like him, but he didn't dare to believe it. Just because I saved her once? Or is it because of that contract? Or is it because of my mom and the others? It all feels unreal. No matter what, I saved her sister this time. She should give me some extra points when I renew the contract next time, right? Although it is not shameful to repay a favor, it can be used at critical moments. Thinking of this, Ji Yu Yi raised the corner of his mouth. The more he looked at his sister-in-law, the cuter she became. Chu Yiyan cried for a long time and was ready to die. However, she found that the pain she had imagined did not come at all. Could it be that the man in the suit was too ruthless and I died without any consciousness? However, at this moment she realized that she seemed to be carried like a princess. Just now, Ji Yu Yi almost fell from the sky. In order to prevent her from suffering secondary injuries, Ji Yu Yi picked her up when he landed. Chu Yiyan slowly opened her eyes, and a familiar yet unfamiliar handsome face appeared in front of her. Chapter 35, taking advantage of my girlfriend's youth and tricking her into becoming my sister-in-law. A very nice face. The outline is clear, the brow bone is narrow, and the eye sockets are elegant and deep, revealing a sense of elegance and calmness. It gives people a pleasing feeling and a full sense of security at first sight. When Chu Yi saw Ji Yi looking at her and smiling at her, her little face turned red. She buried her head in his arms, not daring to look at him. Ji Yi smiled because he thought of something happy. Why was he happy? It was because he had a trump card that would allow Chu Yining to renew his contract. Brother Yi. Chu Yi suddenly realized that Brother Yi didn't recognize him yet, so he quickly changed his words, brother-in-law. Ji Yi was stunned for a moment. Brother Yi. Why does it sound familiar? Isn't that the name of the love master? He must have been frightened and called the wrong name. Hearing her calling him brother-in-law, Ji Yi asked. Your sister told me about me. Chu Yi shook her head. She didn't dare to look at Ji Yi. She kept her head down and spoke in a soft, sweet voice. No, Xiaoxi and I are best friends. I learned from Xiaoxi that you are my sister's boyfriend. Yining has the voice of a royal sister, but this girl is 100% pure and sweet, with some lowly attributes. But her height doesn't match that of a lowly. Ji Yi nodded. But I suddenly felt a little unbalanced. His whole family knew about Yining's existence, but it seemed that Yining had never mentioned his existence to his family. I'll go and make trouble with her later. At this time, Ji Xiaoxi ran over here, followed by a boy about 196 centimeters tall, with delicate features, and a sunny and cheerful look. Ji Yi's first reaction when he saw the boy, is he Brother Yi? But he quickly rejected this idea. First, he looks a bit like Shen Yu. Second, as soon as he came over, he knelt on one knee in front of Chu Yi. Yi Yang, are you okay? Where are those people who hurt you? I'm going to kill them now. Third, he is still a young and inexperienced person. Ji Yi put Yi Yang down, Xiaoxi ran to his side, buried her head in his chest, and swirled around in his chest. Wow, brother, you're finally here. I almost thought I would never see you again, wow. Bad guys bullied me. They had knives and wrenches. Ji Yi rubbed her head. When he came just now, he had already given these 6 people a set of whole body cell inactivation package, which used the nuclear magnetic resonance cell nucleus destruction method. Let them go very peacefully, very decently and very gracefully. These 6 people are already illegal residents, and each of them has committed murder. It would be troublesome to ask the authorities to kill them. The bad guys are gone. They came here just for Ian. Okay, it's okay, let's go home and eat, and don't mention this to our parents, grandparents, and others. Ji Xiaoxi came out of Ji Yi's arms and nodded repeatedly, yeah. When she threw herself into Ji Yi's arms, she was crying and snotting. When she came out, her little face was very clean. It all went on him. Brother, Ian is a little scared, you should take her to see sister-in-law first. Hearing this, Shen Ting hurriedly stood up and blocked Ji Yi's way. Brother, you saved Ian, I should thank you, but where are you taking Ian? Who are you? My name is Shen Ting. Shen Yu is. It's my sister. Do you know my sister? My guess turned out to be correct. They are indeed siblings and look really alike. Shen Yu is 180 centimeters tall, and her brother has grown to 196 centimeters, taller than Ji Yi. At this moment, Ji Xiaoxi jumped up, slapped him on the forehead, and shouted. Barker. My brother is Sister Ian's boyfriend, who do you think he is? Our brother-in-law. Shen Ting exclaimed, looking at the mysterious man in front of him in shock. Ji Yi was quite pleased to hear the word brother-in-law. Although this boy is a little green and naive, he has good emotional intelligence. Shen Yu is Chu Yining from the guards who have been raised together since childhood. Shen Ting should be the bodyguard that Chu Yian has been raised with since childhood. This kid is tall and strong, but every muscle in his body is extremely solid, a level that cannot be achieved through fitness. It requires extremely intensive training combined with secret herbal tempering, day after day, and the younger you are, the higher the tempering limit will be. When Ji Yi was in the army, there was a team member under his command who started training when she was 1 month old. Her physical strength was more than 10 times stronger than that of an ordinary person. Moreover, such a person would almost never get sick in their entire life, and their survival ability was far beyond that of ordinary people. The only disadvantage is probably that it is expensive. Some women who have had plastic surgery like to use their faces to mock men in the blind date market, saying, "I spent the money of your family's house to look at my face. What do you have to bring to my blind date?" If a woman who had plastic surgery spent a house for her face, then the price of Li Zijing's face, which is so small, would be at least a courtyard house in the most prosperous area of Beijing. In comparison, the pain brought by tempering is nothing. "Brother-in-law, where is my sister? I want to go find her," Chu Yiyan said weakly. She really wanted to see her sister now. She almost thought she would never see her sister again. It turns out that Brother Yi has become my brother-in-law. Suddenly it makes sense. Fate is so wonderful. If I can't be Brother Yi's wife, I can be his sister-in-law. From now on, I will be spoiled by my sister and brother-in-law, so I don't have to get married. Brother Yi and sister are the closest people to me, so it's not impossible for me to be the younger one. My sister is older than me, so I am the younger one. Don't be afraid, little readers, your great author is back and will give you a 10,000-word update today. Hallelujah tilde. Chu Yiyan swept away her previous fear and turned into a girl full of energy. It's great to have Brother Yi and sister together. Chu Yiyan had been holding Ji Yi's hand tightly, not daring to let go for even a second. Now she took the initiative to pull Ji Yi towards the school gate. Xian Ting stood in front of the two men again as if by reflex. "Yi Yang, why don't you just wait here for Sister Yining to come? I can protect you here." At this moment, Ji Xiaoxi jumped higher and slapped harder. The palm technique that came from the sky made her hand hurt. "Shout loudly. Bakayalu, tilde. I finally created a chance for Ian and my brother to be alone, and you bastard have been messing with me. NMD. You really have to force me to slap you, don't you?" Ji Xiaoxi thought about it over and over again, tossing and turning, unable to sleep at night. In the end, she decided that she could not give her precious Ian to another man. "I tried for 3 years to trick my best friend into becoming my sister-in-law while she was still young and naive. 3 whole years. Do you know how I have been through these 3 years? I watched my little best friend who I had fooled grow up into a beautiful young lady with a slim waist and long legs. She was graceful and charming at first glance. In the end, others get the benefit. Impossible, absolutely impossible. I raised my sister-in-law, so she can only be given to my brother, not to anyone else." Chapter 36 Brother-in-law, you heard wrongly. Her deception over the past 3 years was not in vain. Ian has fallen deeply in love with her brother Yi and only wants to be his wife. It just so happened that now that the eldest daughter-in-law was already married, they just happened to be in need of a younger daughter-in-law. Ji Xiaoxi thought happily. "Brother, Ian, you guys go first, I'll take care of this." Xian Ting looked confused and pointed his finger at himself. Ji Yi nodded and calculated the time. It was about 20 minutes. Yining should have arrived at the school gate. The matter was simpler than he thought. He had developed a habit of being cautious when carrying out previous missions. But he was worrying too much. How could these little Kurami compare with his tasks? Ji Yi took Chu Yian's hand and walked towards the school gate. Ji Xiaoxi stayed where she was, with her arms crossed in front of her youthful and energetic chest, looking at Xian Ting with strange eyes. "You said you could protect Ian. When Ian was in danger just now, why was it my brother who saved her, not you?" I was just playing ball with my classmates. I promise, I will never play ball again and will never let this happen again." Xian Ting raised 3 fingers and vowed. "Do you think Ian is pretty?" Ji Xiaoxi suddenly asked. R. Xian Ting obviously didn't expect Ji Xiaoxi to ask him such a question. He scratched his neck and said, I think Ian is the most beautiful, kindest, cutest and gentlest girl in the world. My mission is to protect her, and I will protect her for the rest of my life." Xian Ting looked a little embarrassed and kept mumbling. Ji Xiaoxi suddenly asked again. "Do you like Ian?" Xian Ting's heart skipped a beat, his face turned red, and he hesitated for a long time. This. He never thought about this question. What Xiaoxi means is, does Ian like me? But, what should I do? What should I do? Ian is the second lady and I am just her bodyguard, how can I do that? But what if Ian likes me? Should I reject her? What should I do? Xian Ting blushed and his heart beat fast. He even covered his face with his hands and lowered his head. I didn't like Yi Yang, I didn't. Ji Xiaoxi curled her lips and said, okay, that's good. If Ian doesn't like you, you have no chance. Xian Ting was stunned. The sunny boy has rosy cheeks. Ji Xiaoxi hooked him into becoming a black base with just 2 sentences. If Ian doesn't like me, why did you ask that just now? Xian Ting's face turned red. I was shy just now, and now I am angry. I just want to test whether you like Ian. You kid, as expected. Ji Xiaoxi made an expression and gesture that said, Zhen Jidan only smiles at this place. The sunny boy's face turned even redder due to anger, but now it turned into shyness. I didn't. Ji Xiaoxi jumped up and slapped him on the forehead again. Big City Haru. You are not allowed to like Ian. You are only suitable for tough women. Do you understand? On their way, Ji Yi took Chu Ian's hand and walked towards the school gate. This journey takes about 5 or 6 minutes. Ji Yi realized that it was a bit inappropriate to hold his sister-in-law's hand like this and wanted to let go, but Chu Ian held his hands tightly with both hands and he couldn't let go, so he had to give up. He can't just get rid of her by force. His sister-in-law is one of his bargaining chips for the next contract renewal. In Ji Yi's eyes, Ian and Xiaoxi are both still little girls. It can be said that Xiaoxi grew up under his care. When he was 7 years old, his aunt was still working in the hospital. A couple who were close to giving birth had a car accident on their way to their hospital. The car crashed all their way into the river. Their husband died, leaving the chance of life to his wife. His wife died, but she managed to save the baby in her belly before she died. When the medical staff arrived, they were deeply shocked by the scene before them. Their husband was covered in wounds, but he was still holding up the woman. He was drowned alive, and his posture remained the same even after his death. Their wife's head was smashed, but she held on with amazing willpower and did not hurt the baby in her belly at all. The baby was taken out of the mother's womb and was very healthy. That child is Ji Xiaoxi. Later, she was adopted by her aunt and raised by Ji Yi since she was a child. She is 7 years younger than Ji Yi. In the past, Ji Yi always took her out to play. She was like a little tail and liked to follow her brother. As long as her brother was there, no one dared to bully her. She was the king. In the past, my parents were often busy with work and had no time to cook, so Ji Yi often cooked for the family. Ji Yi often cooked for her, including fried chicken legs, French fries, original chicken nuggets, sour plum ribs, homemade spicy noodles. After eating the food her brother cooked, she couldn't eat any snacks from outside anymore. Later, Xiaoxi was in 6th grade and Ji Yi went to the army, and they were apart for 7 years. The girl in front of him, who was about the same age as Xiaoxi, was Xiaoxi's good friend, so Ji Yi naturally had a better impression of her. Are you and Xiaoxi good friends? Ji Yi asked. Yeah, we are best friends, the best in the world. Xiaoxi was the best to me. She took me out to play, taught me how to write novels, and even introduced me to a boyfriend. Chu Ian's face turned slightly red, and she lowered her head, not daring to look at anyone. How are Xiaoxi's grades in school? Ji Yi asked. Xiaoxi is amazing. She is always in the top 3 in the grade in every exam. Ji Yi's lips curled up into a slight smile. Top 3 in the grade, very average. Does Ian have a boyfriend at school? Ji Yi asked. No. Then why did I hear you calling Yi brother just now, not boyfriend? Chu Ian exclaimed, her face flushed. Brother Yi, you heard it wrong. No, brother-in-law, you heard it wrong. Ji Yi? The little girl is very thin-skinned and starts talking nonsense when she gets anxious. You can even call the wrong person. Ji Yi didn't take it to heart. It was easy to understand that they were just kids. They wouldn't tell their parents when they were in love. They would just do it secretly for the excitement. Ji Yi ruffled her hair. Because he saw Chu Yining's great wall and cannons. Chu Yining got out of the car, saw Yi Yang, and immediately ran over. Elegance, calmness, and aloofness all no longer exist at this moment. When Ian saw his sister, his eyes instantly turned red and filled with tears. He blinked his long eyelashes lightly and tears fell down. Woo woo, sister. Chapter 37, How about having 5 babies? Ian and her sister have similar personalities. Ening's character is more domineering, bold, decisive, and she has the perseverance and tenacity that is unique to women. She was rarely affected by emotions when she encountered problems, but after being with Gu Yi, her emotions fluctuated more greatly. Ian has a very gentle and soft personality. She has been well protected by her mother and sister since she was a child. She is innocent and simple. She has no bad intentions towards anyone and her world is very simple. Whether it's Chu Yejun or Chu Ening, or Ji Yi who just met her, they all want to protect this innocence. Because, when innocence exists, beauty becomes concrete and has meaning. Ian is a very beautiful girl. Yi Yang, are you okay? Chu Ening hugged Yi Yang's shoulders and looked her up and down. Even if her sister was injured a little, she would be extremely worried. This was the sister she had held in her hands since she was a child. Chu Ian threw himself into his sister's arms and hugged her tightly. I almost thought I would never see my sister again, woo woo. I can't bear to leave my sister. Chu Ening's eyes also turned red. What's the use of having more wealth? If you can't protect your family, what's the point of all that wealth? If anyone dares to touch her sister, he must be prepared to be retaliated by the Star Group at all costs. Chu Ian got up from his sister's arms, and his brother sobbed and stammered. If my brother-in-law hadn't shown up, Ian would have been beaten to death with a wrench by the bad guys. Sister, why didn't you tell me when you were with your brother-in-law? Sister, when are you and your brother-in-law getting married? Can I be a bridesmaid? Sister, when are you and your husband going to have a baby? I want to go out and party with my baby, too. There was originally a sad atmosphere, but Chu Ian's tone suddenly changed. He blinked at his sister and secretly glanced at his brother-in-law from time to time. A quirky look. When is my sister getting married? Can I be included in her dowry? In ancient times, there were maids who served as concubines in the same room. I will be my sister's maid, he. Of course, she only dared to think about this wonderful thing in her heart and did not dare to say it out loud. A blush flashed across Chu Ening's cheeks, which disappeared in a flash. She scolded in a low voice. What do you mean by getting married and having a baby? What a mess you are thinking, girl. Chu Ening wanted to show her sister's authority, but unexpectedly Chu Ian was not afraid at all and hid directly behind her brother-in-law. Sister, you are not young anymore. You should hurry up and have a baby. If you have 1 baby a year, you will have 5 babies by the age of 33. Brother-in-law, what do you think? Ahem. Ji Yi clenched his fist and covered his mouth to prevent others from noticing the corners of his mouth that he couldn't suppress. What do you feel? Give birth to 5 babies. Chu Ian opened and closed his 5 fingers. His fingers were slender, straight, and white as jade, and even the position of the joints were symmetrical and beautiful. She is 3 centimeters taller than Chu Ening and has a slim figure. She is only 18 years old but has grown into an exquisite beauty. In another 2 years, she will probably be as beautiful as her sister. Chu Ian winked at Ji Yi and showed 5 fingers. I mean, are 5 enough? If it's not enough. I heard that giving birth is very hard, and I can't let my sister suffer too much. My sister and I are biological sisters, so it should be the same if I give birth to a child for her. Chu Ian thought secretly in her heart, her face slightly flushed, I can't let my brother-in-law see what I'm thinking. Ahem. Ji Yi's eyes dodged slightly. If I don't dodge, my true thoughts will be exposed. Fortunately, he had his hands blocking his gaze at this moment, otherwise his true thoughts would have been exposed by the corners of his mouth. Is it okay to have 5 children? That's great. May your family have many children and be happy. If the family is harmonious and happy, having many children is a blessing. This kind of thing mainly depends on your sister's opinion. Ji Yi said, quite pertinently, with the whole country united. Why give birth to 5? If he wants to give birth, you help him. Chu Ening turned his head away, showing a very resistant look, and his little face returned to the look of an iceberg. Chu Ian waved his hands repeatedly, trying his best to resist. No, the first child must be my sister's. I can't help. I am the younger one and cannot get ahead of my sister. Ji Yi? Why can't I wrap my mind around this? This is so mind-boggling. Too mind-boggling. What kind of lewd words are these? If the first child can't help, the next ones can? Is there anything like giving birth that a younger sister can help with? Stop. I can't continue discussing this topic, otherwise I'll feel like a pervert. Okay, let's stop talking for now. Let's go to my house for dinner tonight. Ian, you can come with us. At this time, Gu Xiaoxi came late from behind. The first time she saw Chu Yining, Gu Xiaoxi's eyes widened. It was as if his eyes were glued to Chu Yining and he couldn't move them away. At this moment, she had only one thought in her mind: this is my sister-in-law. Wow. Sister-in-law. My dear sister-in-law. The sister-in-law I think about day and night. I finally saw her in person. Wow, she is so beautiful that I am crying. Sister-in-law is 100 times more beautiful than in the photo. Gu Xiaoxi ran over and hugged Chu Yining. Oh my god, how can there be such a beautiful person? Is this the difference between Newer's meticulous carving for 49 days and just casually pinching the leftovers? Compared with my sister-in-law, I feel like I was casually pinched by Newer using leftovers. Wow tilder. Har ha har har. Gu Yi couldn't help but laughed out loud. Don't be sad, Xiaoxi, you also have your strengths. What are the advantages? Gu Yi raised a finger. I have a very clear understanding of myself. Uwar. It's even more sad. Chu Yining glared at him and hugged Gu Xiaoxi's shoulders. Xiaoxi is also very beautiful and cute. Everyone likes you. I envy you. Sister-in-law is still the best. My brother bullies me. Can I go to my sister-in-law to complain? Gu Yi's mouth twitched. You are poisonous. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, when will it ever end? They are all complaining, right? Who can I complain to? Chu Yining smiled lightly and nodded. Okay, he works in my company. If he bullies you, tell your sister and I will deduct his salary and let him guard the gate. Yeah. Gu Xiaoxi was so happy that she didn't seem to be pretending at all. She even jumped up and down. Even Chu Yian silently stood beside Gu Xiaoxi and formed a united front with her. Xiaoxi is my dearest friend and I will protect her at all costs. Gu Xiaoxi raised her chin with a smug look on her face, and said, see if you dare to bully me. Gu Yi rubbed her head with his big hands, making her hair a mess. Urged. Get in the car, go home for dinner. Mom is waiting anxiously. Chapter 38 Chu Yining, my husband is so cute. They said they would be home around 6:30, and it's already 6:30 now. He was so late the first time he brought his girlfriend home, and he was the one who got scolded later. Alas, in the end, one person had to bear it all. When Gu Xiaoxi heard about going home, the only thing on her mind was eating. A person who eats has to use a basin to eat. Hurry up, I'm starving. Brother, are you going to cook today? Gu Xiaoxi is a community veteran and outgoing person. She pulled Yining and Ian into the car. My sister-in-law sat in the passenger seat, and I and Ian sat in the back. Brother, I want to eat the food you cook. 7 years, wow, 7 whole years. Do you know how I got through these 7 years? I became so thin without the food you cook. Gu Xiaoxi pulled up her sleeves and shook the fat on her arms. Juang tilder. She also realized that something seemed wrong and hurriedly pulled down her sleeves. Anyway, I just lost weight due to hunger. If you don't believe me, you can ask me. Chu Yian blinked his eyes. He had heard that Brother Yi's cooking was super delicious. Now Brother Yi had become his brother-in-law. Isn't it reasonable for the sister-in-law to eat the food cooked by her brother-in-law every day? Oh, yes, Xiaoxi has lost weight. She only weighs about 100 kilograms now. Gu Xiaoxi is 168 centimeters tall and weighs a little over 100 kilograms, which is indeed a bit thin. Gu Yi nodded. Indeed, I have lost weight. How much does one word weigh? Chu Yian's face turned slightly red, and she said weakly, 107 kilograms, am I too fat? Too thin. This girl is 176 centimeters tall and weighs only 107 pounds, which is a bit too thin. With her height, she doesn't look fat even at 130 pounds, but of course it also depends on her figure and frame. Ian has a small frame, but he has plenty of flesh where it should be. Ening, what about you? Me what? How much do you weigh? Hearing this, Gu Xiaoxi and Ian immediately started to make a noise. Oh, brother, what's going on? You don't even know how much my sister-in-law weighs. Have you never hugged my sister-in-law before? Wow, brother-in-law, you don't even know how much my sister weighs. You can ask me about these things, such as what my sister likes to eat, what color she likes, when her period comes every month, what she does when she is happy, what she does when she is unhappy. I know everything, brother-in-law. Ji Yuyi's eyes lit up. Good girl, you are such a lovely sister-in-law. He really didn't know anything and didn't know how to ask. From now on, if he didn't know anything, he could just ask his sister-in-law. That's it. Ji Yuyi handed the phone to Ji Xiaoxi in the back seat, touched his nose, and said lightly, Xiaoxi, please add Yang's WeChat for me. I don't mean anything else. I encountered such a dangerous situation this time, and I can't guarantee that I won't encounter it next time. Add WeChat and tell me in time if anything happens. Chu Yining turned his head, his eyes slightly fixed, and looked at Ji Yuyi strangely. What the hell are you looking at? You don't think I want to get to know you through Ian, do you? You're thinking too much. I'm doing this to protect Ian. Chu Yining, Ian is my sister. Xiaoxi is also my sister. She is Xiaoxi's best friend. They spend every day together. Protecting her is protecting Xiaoxi. Is there any problem? No problem, absolutely no problem. Ji Xiaoxi took Ji Yuyi's phone and added a word, with a smile on her lips. There was really no problem at all. What problem could there be in protecting his little wife? Your young wife was chosen 3 years ago. I was the one who chose her. Chu Yining turned his head away and stopped talking. Her expression was indifferent, even a little bit iceberg-like. But in fact, her heart was already smiling like a flower. Hey, who understands? It's really uncomfortable to hold back laughter. My husband is so cute. He obviously likes me and wants to understand me, but he still pretends to be stubborn. What does this behavior belong to? Without a doubt, it is giving it away for free. Xiaoyu's love experience is really ridiculous. She even said that I gave it to her for free, but it is obvious that Ji Yuyi is the one who gave it to her for free. You can't blame Xiaoyu, it's her fault for never having been in a relationship. Then, Chu Yining took out his mobile phone, opened the Happy Family group, clicked on Xiaoxi's profile picture, and added her as a friend. Friend verification passed. The first message she sent to Xiaoxi was, first of all, I added you not just to get to know your brother, but secondly, what does your brother like to eat? Xiaoxier, sister-in-law, I understand. My brother probably likes to eat you the most. He tilde. Chu Yining was stunned for a moment, then she understood what Xiaoxi meant by eat her, and a blush appeared on her pretty little face. I said to myself, how come I didn't notice it? I almost doubted my own charm. The closest the two of them had been was an hour ago, when Yi Yang got into trouble and she was crying. He hugged her in his arms and kissed her on the forehead. Just for a moment. Brother, you haven't answered my question yet. Have you never hugged your sister-in-law? How could you do this? Scientific research shows that hugging can relieve stress, promote blood circulation, improve sleep quality, etc., especially a hug from a loved one. For girls, a hug from a loved one is the best panacea. How could you not hug your sister-in-law? Hearing this, Chu Yining pouted and said in a muffled voice. Brother-in-law, my sister is the president of the group. She is very busy and hard-working. It must be very stressful to manage such a large company. You should hug her more. When she was rescued by her brother-in-law just now, he carried her like a princess. That feeling was really comfortable and safe, especially because her brother-in-law smelled good, which made her want to bury herself in his arms. This must be the panacea that Xiaoxi mentioned. Ian felt that it was true, my sister needed a hug from her brother-in-law. Ji Yuyi pursed his lips and glanced sideways at Chu Yining who was sitting in the passenger seat. I feel like what Xiaoxi said makes some sense. However, the two of them were a contractual couple, and the contract stated that they were not allowed to do anything beyond their rights without permission. Transgression, this word is quite sexy. Yining probably doesn't like it. Ji Yuyi said. Nonsense. Brother-in-law. Before Chu Yining could say anything, Gu Xiaoxi and Chu Ian couldn't help themselves. How could I not like it? What girl can refuse a hug from the one she loves? Besides, hugging has many benefits. It is good for your health and keeps you in a good mood. How can you not like it? Why does my brother-in-law have such an idea? If it were me, I would wish to stay in my brother-in-law's arms all day. My sister must have the same idea. How could my brother-in-law be so stupid? Hearing this, Chu Yining snorted coldly, and said in a cold and elegant voice, "Who likes to be hugged by him? Ji Yi, look, look. Elder brother. Brother-in-law. Brother, I think I must punish you. Brother-in-law, I think Xiaoxi is right. Ji Yi." A person was sitting in the car and a pot fell from the sky. I was driving just fine, but suddenly I was punished. What the hell is this? I'll punish you. When you get off the car, you have to carry Sister Yining home in your arms like a princess. Brother-in-law, I think Xiaoxi's punishment is reasonable. Ji Yi responded, "Okay. Sister-in-law, my brother has realized his mistake, please forgive him this time." "Yes, sister, please forgive your brother-in-law this time." After a moment, Chu Yining opened her red lips and uttered a word in a cold and clear voice, "Okay." Chapter 39, Xiaoxi's questioning, are the contract couples seen through? Ji Yi seemed to have discovered something wrong. Could it be that Chu Yining actually liked being hugged by him? So, kissing is possible. What should I do? I feel a little dizzy. One of the three major illusions in life, that she likes me, is about to be shaken. But this is too outrageous. In the eyes of ordinary people, he was just a security guard with a high school education, no car, no house, and no savings, while Chu Yining was the president of Xingchen Group, stunningly beautiful, worth hundreds of billions. She likes me. Can you believe this? Or maybe she saw something. The first time I saved her, and the second time I saved her sister. Even the dumbest person could see some clues in these two incidents. Of course, it is impossible for them to check their own information even if they want to. However, he has already retired. Choosing to retire means giving up everything the organization has given him, even if these things were once created by him. I am just an ordinary person now. Maybe it was because of these things that Yining had misunderstandings. Ji Yi sighed secretly in his heart. He finally found out where the problem was. It was impossible for a billionaire president to fall in love with an ordinary person like himself. Forget it, there's no point thinking too much. It's just worrying about nothing. Just live the way you like. Since you like it, just pursue it slowly. If Xiaoxi knew this idea, she would probably jump up and slap her brother on the knee. It's so infuriating. It's been so many years since the first year of Puxin, how can you be so unconfident? However, everyone who has been in a relationship knows that when you are in a relationship for the first time, you are really not confident. After going through so many things and making sure of everything, in the end, you still can't be sure that the other person likes you. Not only Ji Yi, but Chu Yining is the same. Even someone as outstanding as Chu Yining was extremely nervous at this moment. We are about to arrive at Ji Yi's house. Grandpa, grandma, grandmother, uncle, Aunt Lin, will they dislike me? I am older than Ji Yi, will he look down on me? Old people all like children. The younger the child, the stronger their fertility. They think only children like this will be liked, but they are already too old. All kinds of random and confusing thoughts flooded into my mind, making me wildly imagine. She looked out the window, unable to calm down. If only I could have a baby earlier, I feel like I'm really getting old. But Ji Yi is a fool, the two of them are just a contract. On the day the contract expires, will Ji Yi choose not to renew it? Thinking of this, Chu Yining felt extremely lonely. Whenever this thought came up, his heart would suddenly stop beating. My heart hurts. Ji Xiaoxi, who was sitting in the back seat, inexplicably sensed something was wrong. She always felt that there was something wrong between her brother and sister-in-law, but she couldn't figure out what the problem was. She sent a message to Ian on her cell phone. Xiaoxier, Ian, do you think there is something wrong between my brother and your sister? Brother Yi's young wife, what is the problem? No, I don't feel anything. Xiaoxier, do you feel that they should like each other, but there seems to be a membrane separating them, and their relationship wants to go further but is always blocked by something? Brother Yi's young wife, now that you put it that way, it seems like that's really the feeling. Xiaoxier, could it be that this result is caused by the difference in status between the two people? Brother Ye's young wife, huh? What does this mean? Xiao Xiao, I know your family is very rich, owns a big company, and has a high social status, but if your sister dislikes my brother because of this, I will never agree to her marrying my brother, and her mother and others will not agree to her entering the Gu family. In Gu Xiao's heart, her brother is her pride. He has always been the top student in his grade since he was young. Wherever he is, no matter what, he is the best. This brother is gentle and kind, humble and kind to others in order to serve the motherland. He gave up his future and devoted all his youth for 7 years. He gave up everything he had in the army, returned to his parents, and followed their arrangements to go on a blind date. Her brother was all her pride, and no matter what others thought, she didn't think her brother was unworthy of anyone. If they are a good match, everyone in the Gu family will fully support them. If not, we don't care no matter how good you are. Seeing this message, Chu Yen was so anxious that tears fell, and her hands were shaking as she typed. My brother is Gu Xiao's pride. Isn't he her sister Chu Yen's pride? My sister is not that kind of person. Chu Yen stopped typing and choked out in a low voice with a crying tone. Hearing the sound, Gu stopped the car on the side of the road. Ian, what's wrong? Xiaoxi, what are you guys talking about? Gu Xiao's eyes also turned red. She knew that she was just guessing randomly, but it was quite possible. The most obvious difference between the two people is the gap in identity and status. They are obviously a couple, but the brother has never hugged his sister-in-law. Why? Obviously, my sister-in-law has never taken the initiative to hug my brother. Why is that? Is it just because my sister-in-law is a girl? If you like a boy very much and this boy is your legitimate boyfriend, then no matter how reserved you are, you will hug him. If you don't dare in public, then you should also be afraid when there is no one around. They don't even hug each other, how can they be boyfriend and girlfriend? I said that. I feel like you two are clearly boyfriend and girlfriend, but you don't look like boyfriend and girlfriend. It's as if there's a barrier between you. I guess it's because of the difference in your status. Sister-in-law, you are boyfriend and girlfriend, but you have never hugged my brother, right? My brother has been very proactive, but he has to be so cautious. You are obviously boyfriend and girlfriend, why is this happening? I know your family is rich, runs a big company, and has a high status, but if this is why you despise my brother and need him to be servile, then I tell you, there will be no good results. If this is the case, no one in the Gu family will agree to this marriage. If your sister-in-law is this kind of person, it's better not to have her. No matter who you are, I won't watch my brother being your bootlicker. If a young wife cannot distinguish right from wrong, I don't want her to be my wife. As far as I know, there are many people who like my brother. Let them think they are great, but we are not trying to be above our level. Gu Xiaoxi may seem careless, but she is actually very thoughtful, smart, and a real protective brother. How could she bear to see her brother becoming someone else's bootlicker? Chu Yen held Gu Xiao's arm, her eyes red from crying. On one side was her sister, on the other was her best friend, and the other was brother Yi, whom she had been secretly in love with for 3 years. She didn't know why such a misunderstanding occurred, but she couldn't explain it. She could only cry and plead, word by word. Xiaoxi, my sister is not that kind of person. Brother-in-law, my sister is really not that kind of person. Wow, there must be some misunderstanding. My sister has always been a super nice person. Chapter 40, Get Engaged next month. Gu Yi's heart skipped a beat. Sigh secretly. He knew he might be exposed, but he didn't expect that he couldn't even get past Xiaoxi. The reason is very simple, they are not real lovers, but just contracted lovers, just acting. Maybe there is some true love in it, but there is definitely a gap between it and real lovers. For example, there is no serious couple who has never actively hugged each other. There are no serious couples who are so cautious even when hugging. However, he couldn't possibly tell Xiaoxi about the contract couple thing. Xiaoxi, you misunderstood. Yining is not that kind of person. We've only been together for 3 days. Yining is a girl, so it's normal for her to be a little reserved. You're worrying too much. Chu Yining is indeed not that kind of person. If she had that kind of snobbish face, Gu Yi would not pay any attention to her. Besides, he had saved her life. If he turned a disrespectful face towards his savior, it would show his character was in tatters. It's no wonder Ceci misunderstood. Their acting as a couple is a bit poor and full of loopholes. Oh, what should I do when I get home later? Will I be exposed again? Ji began to worry. Sister-in-law, I'm sorry, I think too much, don't be angry, I kowtow to you. Ceci hit her head on the back of Chu Yining's seat. Make a sound. Chu Yining quickly turned around, held her forehead, and shook her head gently. It's okay. It's not your problem. It's my fault. I didn't do well. After a pause, Chu Yining suddenly spoke. Ji, let's go to your house this time to talk about our engagement next month. Click. The three people in the car's hearts skipped a beat. It was quiet. There is less than a week left until next month. We're getting engaged next month, so we're going to have a baby soon. We're going to be able to take the baby out for some fun. Xiaoxi and Yi Yang's eyes suddenly lit up. The next moment. Wow. Yeah. Sprinkle flowers. Oh. Time to eat wedding candy. Great joy. The two little girls in the back seat of the car were so happy that they even sent the message to the family group. The other side. Qingxing Group. Building, top floor. Just half an hour ago. In the company group of Qingxing Group, someone shared a video in the group. Afterwards, the video went viral, and many people even quietly saved it for viewing and learning. Soon, Zhang Li also saw the video, and even secretly hid in the toilet, downloaded the video and saved it on his mobile phone. I plan to watch carefully and learn well. Until he saw himself in the video. Then someone anonymously sent him a video of the incident. He actually had the exclusive access to the video that was so expensive that many people could only get. The plot is very explosive, the author who created this plot is definitely a genius, and the actors' acting skills are also at the level of Beijing Film Academy textbooks. Of course, this is what ordinary people think. Only Zhang Li himself knew that this was not a script at all. Before he reported to the chairman, his uncle, and his wife, was past continuous tense. While he was reporting to the chairman, his uncle, and his wife, were in present tense. At the end of his work report to the chairman, his uncle, and his wife, is present perfect tense. They are right in front of me. The next moment, Zhang Li went to the president's office on the top floor with a knife. When Xian Yu arrived, Zhang Li's wife had been chopped to pieces and was left completely dead. As for Zhang Du, he was chopped into a stick and was still holding onto his last breath. He was reluctant to let him die. Only those who have been lickers can understand Zhang Li's feelings at this moment. 10 years, a full 10 years of licking. He didn't even want to touch her. I was afraid that it would hurt her, that it would melt if I put it in my mouth, and that it would break if I held it in my hand. That's the girl, R. My mentality is completely broken, and only destruction can relieve the hatred in my heart. Zhang Li was familiar with the company's security system. Even though people were hacked to death by him, no one called the police. Xian Yu rescued Zhang Du. Zhang Du begged Xian Yu to give him a quick death, so he told him the name of the mastermind behind the incident. Xian Yu agreed. After getting the answer, she returned Zhang Du to Zhang Li. Thank you. Zhang Li grinned, his mouth full of blood, and his eyes were grim. If you hadn't returned Zhang Du to me, you would never know who was behind this. Because the mastermind Zhang Du knew was fake. The mastermind I know is also fake. The real mastermind behind this is someone we can't touch. No one can survive if they want them to die. Do you know the Federal Assassin Organization? They are spread all over the world, but they are independent of the third world. A killer organization actually has its own laws, its own army, its own government, its own diplomatic department, and has successfully established diplomatic relations with more than 100 countries. You actually got involved with such an existence. Xian Yu frowned. How did you know? Because they knew I would tell you, so I knew it. Okay, let me enjoy my last moments. I don't want to let him suffer. I really don't want to die. Zhang Li stared at Zhang Du, who had been cut into a human stick on the ground, with the hatred in his heart not diminished at all. On the other side, Chu Yining received a call from Xian Yu. The mastermind behind the incident has not been found, but it is certain that he is from an organization called Federal Killers. Chu Yining already had the answer in his mind as to why they targeted the Chu family. As for who the real mastermind is, it doesn't matter anymore. Because of the federal assassin members within the territory of Long Country, Chu Yining will kill them all without leaving a single one alive. They thought the Chu family would compromise and that Chu Yining would be scared. Quite the opposite. Xiaoyu, activate the family fund at all costs. Clear. Chu Yining hung up the phone. Ji Yuyi asked, Yining, have you found out who was behind the attack on Ian? Chu Yining shook his head slightly. We only found out that this person is from one organization. If this person had been hiding and not exposed at all, it would indeed scare Chu Yining. What she feared was not that she would be hurt, but that she didn't know how to protect Ian. However, arrogance is the sharp sword of death. Chu Yining's eyes were cold. She was different from Ian. Ian had been well protected since childhood, and her heart was a pure land. Chu Yian, on the other hand, grew up in an environment of killing. From her position, she had seen countless ugly aspects of human nature. She has her pride and things she wants to protect. After a moment of silence, Ji Yuyi took one hand and held Chu Yining's slender hand, interlocking their fingers, and said, If you can't solve it, tell me and I can find a way to solve it. You are my girlfriend, I am your boyfriend. If there is anything we have to deal with, we will handle it together. Looking for support for my new book Tilder. Is anyone reading it? Please let me know Tilder. Chapter 41. It blew up, the whole group blew up. Ji Yuyi has now retired. Although the organization has reserved some authority for him, it is no longer possible to cover for him. There are indeed many organizations and forces in this world that are unknown to ordinary people. When Ji Yuyi said to find a solution, he actually meant to ask others for help. A tree that stands out in the forest is bound to be envied. The Chu family is small in number, and they are in charge of the behemoth Star Group. There are many jealous people, and many of them want to replace them. But for the Chu family to be able to stand in this position, how could they not have any means? Brother, I saved your phone number in Ian's phone and set up an emergency call. This is the ringtone. Ji Yuyi clicked on the emergency call and a ringtone appeared. Brother-in-law, help Tilder, brother-in-law, help Tilder. Chu Ian's face turned red. The sound sounds weird. If you are in danger, just dial the emergency number with one click and my brother will come to rescue you. Thank you Xiaoxi, thank you brother-in-law. Chu Ian spoke softly, her beautiful eyes blinking. Don't be polite to my brother-in-law. Ji Yuyi said with a smile. Now he was getting more and more comfortable calling him brother-in-law. After experiencing this thrilling event, Chu Yining suddenly had a strange idea in his mind. Leave Ian with Ji Yuyi. If they were not a couple now and she had not fallen in love with Ji Yuyi, she would introduce her sister to Ji Yuyi without hesitation and make him her brother-in-law. Ji Yuyi gave her an inexplicable sense of security. As long as he was around, nothing would happen. But now, she and Ji Yuyi are boyfriend and girlfriend. She likes him, wants to marry him, and wants to have children for him. She will not give Ji Yuyi to anyone else, and she can't do it. Love is selfish. She would feel jealous when she heard Ji Yuyi and Liu Xiaolan having dinner together. When she asked him, she was actually already jealous, but she just wanted to save face. Soon, the car almost reached the gate of the community. Ji Yuyi blinked at Chu Yian, and Chu Yian made an okay gesture, blinked his beautiful eyes, and asked sweetly. By the way, sister, you said you were going to get engaged to your brother-in-law next month, so when are you planning to have the baby? Yes, when will the baby be born? Grandpa, grandma, parents, they all love babies very much. Ji Yuyi rolled his eyes and thought to himself, the renewal of the couple's contract is not even stable yet, and you're already thinking about having a baby. You think too much. The so-called engagement is just Chu Yining's delaying tactic, otherwise how can he hide the fact that we are a contracted couple? For this kind of question, Ji Yuyi simply pretended not to hear it, since it was not a question to him anyway. Ji Yuyi glanced sideways, and through the reflection in the glass, he seemed to find that Chu Yining's icy little face was flushed at this moment. No way, has she really thought about this issue? Having a child is different from falling in love. With a child, two people have a blood connection. This is a lifelong bond. Two people who are bound by blood are at the very least relatives and cannot be separated. Chu Yining's cheeks flushed, and the blush spread to the base of her neck. This question. In order to avoid being exposed and to make the two of them look like a real couple, Chu Yining made up her mind and bit her thin lips lightly. Xiaoxi's guest just now made her heart tremble. Yes, even Xiaoxi could see that there was something wrong with their relationship, so couldn't Aunt Lin and the others see it? What would happen if Aunt Lin found out that I had lied to her? Would she no longer like me? Chu Yining has decided to make Ji Yuyi's family his own family. If Aunt Lin hates him, it will be absolutely unacceptable. If Aunt Lin and the others also guessed like Xiaoxi that she disliked Ji Yuyi because of her status and wealth. Chu Yining trembled. No, everything Ji Yuyi and I say and do must be exactly like a real couple. No, we are real couple. We agreed on this during the contract period. We are real couple. Chu Yian spoke slowly, her voice firm and deep, magnetic. We are already preparing for pregnancy and plan to have a baby this year. Right, Ji Yuyi. Ji Yuyi almost thought he had heard it wrong, and hurriedly responded, yes, yes, yes. Whoosh tilde. A voice message is sent to the family group. At the same time, the car drove to the gate of the community. Xiao Xiao at all members manually, we are here. Take credit, take credit. The other side. Family oriented. Those who are cooking, those who are preparing fireworks, and those who are preparing red envelopes are preparing red envelopes. Very busy. The family members divided the work in an orderly manner and were all waiting anxiously. Just then, a voice message came. Everyone was staring at their phones. Xiaoxi was there, and she would report Yining's arrival status at any time. When a voice message came in, everyone clicked on it, but because they were busy, they basically chose to speak the voice message out loud. A voice came from inside. By the way, sister, you said you were going to get engaged to your brother-in-law next month, so when are you planning to have a baby? Yes, yes, when will the baby be born? Grandpa, grandma, parents, they all love babies. We are already preparing for pregnancy and plan to have a baby this year. Is that right, Ji Yuyi? Yes, yes. Quiet. Quiet. After hearing the voice message in the family group, everyone was so shocked that they forgot about the work at hand. What does it smell like? The food is burnt. Who cares what dish is burnt? Oh my god. Our Jiyu family has a successor. Crash. Hurry, hurry, everyone, take your positions. Yining is at the gate of the community. Double the fireworks. Double the red envelopes. Add more food, add more food, add more food tonight, everyone, get ready to welcome Yining. The Chinese New Year is not so lively. The New Year isn't this exciting. Crash, explosion. At this moment, Mother Jiyu clenched her fists, raised them in front of her chest, and jogged on the spot, just like that emoticon, wow, so excited. She seemed to see her eldest grandson waving at her. Are you going to have a grandson? Are you really going to have a firstborn grandson? Happiness comes so fast that it feels a little unreal. My son was serving in the army and has been home for 7 years, and there has been no news from him. Apart from reporting their son's safety every year, they had no news about him. It was not until later that Gu's mother accidentally met one of Ji Yuyi's comrades in arms and learned that her son had been carrying out dangerous missions. The reason there is no news is because I am afraid that my family will worry. How could she not worry? How can I not worry? Ji Yuyi is the only child of the old Jiyu family. He is carrying out dangerous missions outside. Will anything unexpected happen to them and cause them to lose their son? However, they had no way to say anything, because their son was fighting to defend the motherland and he was their pride. Therefore, even when Mother Jiyu was hospitalized for cancer, she never thought of making her son worry. Now, my son is back, has a girlfriend, and is about to start a family. When you start a family, you have dreams and ties in this world. Grandpa, grandma, dad, mom can only accompany you for a part of the journey. Chapter 42, No More Pretending, Let us show our cards. The love that parents have for their children is a deep and complex love. Some people say that the Confucian funeral culture is cumbersome and wasteful, and that one has to observe mourning for 3 years, which is extremely unreasonable. However, back to that era, back to the time when civilization had just begun to develop, parents and children were together every day. Human beings at that time faced many dangers, such as wild beasts, insects and snakes, and their lives were in danger at all times. Parents were always with their children. Why? To protect their children's lives. Imagine that parents are always by their child's side, protecting their child with their lives, and then they depend on each other and never separate for the rest of their lives. Their feelings are so deep that when the parents die, the child will cry loudly and suffer serious psychological trauma. Scientific research shows that if a person suffers severe psychological trauma, the recovery period is 3 years. At that time, observing mourning for 3 years is a very humane thing to do. Therefore, it is not that simple for parents to hope that their children get married. It involves the parents' complex emotions and deep love. It's just that many parents don't know how to express it. Mother Gu was standing at the gate of the community, holding a firework tube in each hand, her face showing an unconcealable joy. She stood on tiptoe and looked out from time to time. When she saw the car Xiaoxi mentioned appear in her sight, she began to wave from afar. Gu parked the car and got out with Chu Yining and the others. Mom. Mother, Tilder. Aunt Lin. Our Tilder mother Tilder, Chu Yian didn't know how to shout, but when she heard Xiaoxi calling her mother, she followed suit. As soon as Chu Yining got off the car, he trotted towards Gu Mar. Gu Xiaoxi secretly patted Chu Yian's perky little butt and winked at her. My dear wife, this is the mother-in-law reserved for you. Come over quickly. Chu Yian's face turned red, like a ripe apple. Although she was very shy, her steps were not slow at all. She ran over closely following her sister's pace. Aunt Lin, I'm Yining. When Chu Yining ran to Gu's mother, her little face was already flushed, and her voice was hoarse and a little soft. She took out the bracelet she had prepared long ago and put it on Gu Mar's hand, then took out the exquisite little card she had written on it and placed it in Gu Mar's palm. On the card was her handwritten message, addressed to Aunt Lin. Mother Gu looked at the bracelet on her hand, then at Yining's handwritten blessing, her eyes slightly reddened. This child is thoughtful. The gift was prepared early and the words were written by Yining himself. The Yining in front of me is even more beautiful than in the photo, the kind of beauty that touches my heart at first sight. With a daughter-in-law like this, what else could you be dissatisfied with? Just then, Ian came jogging from behind, with a pair of little hands intertwined behind her back, her little face rosy, standing there cutely and obediently. Niang Tilder. Mother Gu's heart skipped a beat. What's going on? Another little fairy comes, buy one get one free. Why does she call me a Niang? Is she also my son's girlfriend? Ian is also the kind of girl who can capture Gu Mar's heart at first sight. She has a pure, clean and ethereal temperament. The more I look at it, the rarer it becomes. She really wanted to call her son a scumbag, but when she saw such beautiful words, she suddenly felt that some things were understandable. No, I can't think about it. I already have Yining, such a good daughter-in-law, how can I be greedy? But, I am really excited. 2 such beautiful girls coming here at once. Which cadre can withstand such a test? The question is, why did she appear with Yining? Xiaoxi blinked at Gu Mar not far away, and she soon had a guess. Gu Yi also saw her little action and asked in surprise, Xiaoxi, what are you doing? Gu Xiaoxi smiled slyly, put her hands behind her back, and kept it a secret. Brother, what do you think of Ian? What do you mean? You and I are both little girls in my eyes. Why are you asking me such a question? Gu Xiaoxi curled her lips and asked in a low voice. If Ian were to become my second sister-in-law, would you agree? Gu Yi raised his hand. He pretended to slap her in the face. Gu Xiaoxi quickly covered her face. I said what I meant, not what I meant. Don't bully me, brother. Gu Yi shook his hands and said calmly, Yang is only 18 years old, and I am 25. Compared with her, I am an old man. Why are you trying to make connections? Besides, I have a girlfriend, and my girlfriend is her sister. How could you come up with this? He suddenly thought of their brother Yi that Yang had called him before. It was unexpected that this great man could be secretly loved by a girl as beautiful as Yang. He even wanted to ask him for advice on how to pick up girls. Now it seems to me that this brother Yi, the master of picking up girls, is probably me. No wonder Ian called himself Brother Yi by mistake several times. Xiaoxi, was it your words that bewitched you? What are you talking about? How could an 18-year-old girl like a 25-year-old old man like me? Gu Yi said angrily. My sister is good in every way, except that sometimes she thinks too much about herself and is a little too assertive. Any marriage thread can be tied randomly. Do you know what 7 years old means? When I was in college, she was still in elementary school. Hearing this, Xiaoxi felt very aggrieved. She simply stopped pretending and came clean. According to the time, Ian has been with you before my sister-in-law, but you don't know it. Ji Yuyi's scalp went numb when he heard this. Ian has been with me earlier than Ening, but I didn't even know it. Or listen to what you are saying. I've liked you for 3 years. She's the wife I reserved for you. I've been telling her stories about you for the past 3 years. Although many of them were made up by me, she's already fallen in love with you. In her heart, she's determined to be your wife. So, you've been together for 3 years, but you didn't know it, much earlier than your sister-in-law. Now that you have a sister-in-law, what can you do with a word? Ji Yuyi was stunned after hearing what he heard, and couldn't help but exclaim in his heart that there is such a thing. I dated a high school student for 3 years without knowing anything about it. We've been together for 3 years, why don't you go to heaven? You have to deal with the trouble you caused yourself. And I have a girlfriend now. Ji Yuyi was too lazy to pay attention to her. In his eyes, Xiaoxi and Ian were just playing house. What do children know about feelings? Have you been in a relationship for 3 years with someone you've never even met, separated by thin air? What an outrageous operation. The so-called liking is nothing but an imagined perfect personality, not yourself at all. On the other hand, Ji Yumar said no, but her body was honest. When Ian came up to her, she couldn't help but hold Ian's little hand. 2 beauties, one big and one small, one in each hand. That happiness tilde. Aunt Lin, this is my sister Ian. She is also Xiaoxi's good friend. Mother Jiyu was a little surprised. Xiaoxi's good friend, could it be that Xiaoxi tricked her into becoming her sister-in-law? And the real sister-in-law doesn't he know yet? So these two are sisters. This, cough cough. Chapter 43. She closes her eyes just waiting for you to kiss her. However, she sighed secretly. Ian was still young, and Ening was her serious girlfriend, so she should stop thinking about those unrealistic things. Ian's love for Ji Yuyi should just come from her imagination. Mother Ji Yu kept all this in her heart and did not show it. Having experienced this from a young age, she knew that young girls' emotions were both stubborn and fragile. Does Ian have a boyfriend at school? Yes, Xiaoxi helped me find it. In front of Ji Yumar, his words were so innocent that they were scary. Chu Ening's eyes widened. How come she didn't know when her sister had ever been in a relationship? How long have you been talking? Chu Ian's face flushed, and she grabbed the edge of her clothes with her hands, pulling and pulling. 3 years. Chu Ening's eyes widened. His sister had been in a relationship for 3 years right under his nose and he didn't even know about it. Mother Gu's heart skipped a beat. Something bad had happened. She guessed that Xiaoxi probably wanted to introduce Ian to her brother as soon as he came back. With Ian's conditions, he was perfect in every aspect except his young age. Who doesn't he like a gentle, sweet and beautiful girl? Today is your sister's first time coming to her boyfriend's house. Can you and your mother welcome your sister together? Okay tilde. Chu Ian nodded repeatedly, his mouth and eyebrows curved into small crescent shapes. In fact, they don't understand Ian, even Xiaoxi doesn't understand her. Ian has never thought about getting anything. She only thinks about how to give and make the people around her better. As long as they are happy, she is happy. She didn't ask for anything. She didn't ask for fame, and she didn't even ask Brother Yi to love her. My sister and Brother Yi are in love, so I can just be their maid. Anyway, my sister and brother-in-law will spoil me. Mother Ji Yu ruffled her hair, so good. The two sisters are really tall. Ening is 173 centimeters tall, Ian is 176 centimeters tall, and Ji Yu Mar, who is 170 centimeters tall, looks short in front of them. At this time, Ji Yu Yi and Xiaoxi came over. Ji Yu Xiaoxi said, "We just agreed to punish my brother and let him bring sister-in-law home as a princess." Yes, yes, yes. Punish my brother-in-law by bringing my sister home. It's his fault that he doesn't usually bring my sister home. Hold one, hold one. Princess hug, princess hug. Mother Ji Yu pinched Ji Yu Yi's waist and said, "You deserve to be punished, kid. You don't hug your own wife enough, but you want others to hug you." Hearing this, Ji Yu Yi stretched out his big arms and picked up Chu Ening like a princess amid her exclamations. Chu Ening was wearing a skirt that reached her calves, paired with a pair of white twisted flat sandals, which were also very exquisite. Holding him in his arms, Ji Yuyi had an intuitive feeling. It's very light, just over 100 pounds at most. You're too thin. You need to eat more, gain some weight and be healthy. Start today. Too fat doesn't look good. Get fatter so you can have a baby. Chu Yining stopped talking. Ji Yu Xiesi and Chu Yian started to make a scene. Ji Yu Ma's mouth was harder to suppress than AK. Oh, oh, oh. Welcome, sister-in-law. A warm welcome. Sprinkle flowers. Sprinkle flowers. Sprinkle flowers. Welcome, sister. Bang. 2 fireworks rang out. Chu Yining hugged Ji Yuyi's neck, buried her head in his arms, and didn't dare to raise her head. Something always feels wrong. Now it feels like getting married. The fireworks fell on the two of them, and Ji Yuyi carried Chu Yining and walked home. Go downstairs to the community. Dad is waiting here. 2 fireworks rang out. Welcome Yining. Warm welcome. Princess Ji Yuyi hugged Chu Yining and went upstairs again to greet the fireworks. It really felt like she was marrying him and bringing him home. After setting off the fireworks, Mr. Ji Yu was asked to get something from the trunk. Chu Yining prepared gifts for everyone in the family and was putting them in the trunk. To the door of this house. Grandma and Grandma are waiting at the door. For more fireworks rang out. Welcome Yining. Warm welcome. Chu Yining and Ji Yu Xiesi acted as the atmosphere group along their way. Oh, welcome, welcome. A warm welcome. Oh, welcome, welcome. A warm welcome. Ji Yuyi finally brought Chu Yining home. He carried Chu Yining to the living room and sat down on the sofa. This girl smells so good. The rose scent is mixed with a hint of milk, and you will never get tired of it. For Ji Yuyi, 100 jin is almost like having no weight. The girl's body is soft and fragrant, and it is very comfortable to hug her. Chu Yining buried his head in Ji Yuyi's arms, not daring to look up all the way. Because my face is always red and hot. She pinched Ji Yuyi secretly and said in a low voice. Put me down. Ji Yuyi felt comfortable in her embrace and was reluctant to let her go. Xiao Shi and the others said that I didn't hug you enough. I think so too. I want to hug you every day from now on. Do you agree? Ji Yuyi did not lower his voice, but spoke very naturally. The whole family can hear this sound. Suddenly, Chu Yining's face turned red. Ji Yuyi's attitude seemed to indicate that he would not let her go unless she agreed. Chu Yining buried his head in Ji Yuyi's arms, not knowing at all that at this moment, all the family members were staring at him, with smiles on their faces harder than the last. Wow, the dog bowl is ready, just waiting for you to feed it some dog food. Chu Yining reached out and pinched the soft flesh on Ji Yuyi's waist. Girls are born with this skill and can learn it without any instruction. She didn't lower her voice, it was quite soft, but everyone could hear it clearly, it was a soft and glutinous voice. Agree. Wow wow wow. The living room was instantly bustling with activity. Ji Yu Xiesi took the lead in making a fuss. Oh. Give me a kiss, give me a kiss. Wow. Brother-in-law, kiss my sister quickly. She closed her eyes just waiting for you to kiss her. Chu Yining suddenly opened his eyes. Chu Yian continued, wow. Brother-in-law, kiss my sister quickly. She opened her eyes and asked you why you didn't kiss her yet. Chu Yining. It is my blessing to have a sister like you. Others also joined in the booing. Give me a kiss, give me a kiss. You've been together for so long, you haven't kissed before, right? Are today's young people the same as we were in the 1960s and 1970s? So conservative. Hearing this, Chu Yining didn't care about anything else, not even blushing, not caring about so many people watching. Can't be seen. I can't let Aunt Lin dislike me. If Aunt Lin misunderstood me like Ceci did, I would have no place to cry. Chu Yining hugged Ji Yuyi's neck. Boo Tilder. Flash by. Ji Yuyi only felt a fragrant breeze, and then a soft and delicate touch on his lips, and his heartbeat accelerated. Plop plop. Before he had time to experience it, it was over. Gulp. Ji Yuyi swallowed. That feeling was like Zhu Barji eating the ginseng fruit, before he had time to taste it. A faint sweetness lingered at the corners of his mouth, and Ji Yuyi was a little fascinated. Damn it. Chapter 44 Sister-in-law. There were so many people outside just now, I knelt down for you. At this time, Chu Yining had already gotten up from Jiu Yi. She gave the gifts to Jiu Yi's family one by one. Grandpa, this is a little gift from Yining. I hope you like it. A set of purple clay teapots. Next is Gu's father's, a limited edition Cartier watch, low-key yet luxurious. After Gu's father put it on, his whole temperament doubled. Then I gave my grandma a set of incense burners, which included a 1 kilogram piece of fragrant wood. This kind of fragrant wood is very rare. When it is lit in the room, it has the effect of calming the mind, strengthening the spleen, and prolonging life. The market price of this kilogram is several million, and it is in short supply, so ordinary people can't buy it at all. The next gift I gave my sister-in-law was a whole set of exquisite crystal jewelry, including hairpins, earrings, necklaces, everything. My sister-in-law is not married yet, and when she wears these on a date, her temperament is more than doubled. Finally, Xiaoxi was given a consumption card, which could be used anywhere a credit card could be used, but there was not much money in it, only 3 million. Xiaoxi is still young, so it's not appropriate to give her too much pocket money, just give her a little as a token of her appreciation. 3 million pocket money. Gu Xiaoxi pulled Chu Yining to the bedroom. Plop. Sister-in-law, there were a lot of people outside just now, I knelt down for you. Please don't mind what we said in the car, sister-in-law. Gu Xiaoxi raised her head and blinked at her sister-in-law with her big, Caroline eyes. A woman's knees are made of gold, and today is finally the time to fulfill her promise. Chu Yining pulled her to sit down and scratched her nose lovingly. I don't blame you. There was a little misunderstanding between your brother and I. This misunderstanding was a matter between contract lovers, and she couldn't tell anyone about it. This is just a little pocket money. Tell my sister-in-law when you've spent it. Chu Yining lacks everything except money. To her, money has long been just a string of numbers. The Chu family has the talent to manage the world, and even if all their wealth is gone, they will find a way to make a comeback. So, she never touched money and she was not interested in money. Just then, Ji Yi opened the door and poked his head in. Yining, my mother asked what you want to eat. Auntie Lin, do you want to cook? With a bang, Mother Ji Yu pushed the door open and walked in. Looking at Yining, Ms. Lin Wanqiu's eyes were filled with emotion. Finally someone understands me, finally someone recognizes my cooking skills. Yes, Auntie wants to cook. Chu Yining put a finger on his chin, thought for a moment, and raised his finger. Then I want to eat cola chicken wings. Mother Ji Yu glanced at her son and said, did you hear that? Coke chicken wings. Yining wants to eat Coke chicken wings. Eh? Isn't Aunt Lin going to cook? Mother Ji Yu said with a smile, in our family, men cook for women and women cook for men. Yining, let's go. Let's show these gentlemen our cooking skills. Us. Yes, we can't compare with them in terms of taste, but we can compete with them in terms of innovation. Mother Ji Yu blinked at Chu Yining. Wow. Great. Chu Yining's eyes lit up and he was eager to try. She definitely has no confidence in comparing the taste of the food. Everyone in her family is terrible at cooking, and each one's food is worse than the other. But her mother still insists on cooking by herself. But it's a pity for her and her sister, otherwise their eyes wouldn't light up when they heard that Ji Yu's cooking was delicious. I don't have confidence in cooking delicious food, but when it comes to innovation, my mind is full of ideas. At this time, Yi Yan came over. I want one too. I want one too. I'm also very creative in cooking tilde. Ji Yumar was grinning from ear to ear. Anyway, she didn't have to eat any of it. It was all for the men in the family to eat. She accepted all the food. Come over, baby Ian. Let's cook together. Each of us can make a dish for them to enjoy. Yeah. Ji Xiaoxi was not to be outdone. She was the second to last in the family's cooking skills. Of course, the last one was Ms. Lin Wanqiu. She and her grandmother Xu Lin. Madam, tied for second to last. The worse you become, the more you like to play. Although they are three newbies, their passion for cooking has not diminished over the years and they always want to fight for the power in the kitchen. If my father and grandfather hadn't resolutely defended the rights of the kitchen, the food at home would have been inedible. And me, brother. I want to show you how I cook spicy and sour potato shreds. Go, 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 target the kitchen, go, go, go. At this moment, Mr. Gu, who was busy in the kitchen, felt a cool breeze behind him. Lin Wanqiu took the lead, followed by Yining, Ian, and Xiaoxi. The three of them sharpened their knives and headed to the kitchen, determined to show off their cooking skills. What are you doing? What are you doing? The kitchen is a restricted area, no one is allowed in. Old Master Jiyu was standing at the kitchen door, still defending his control over the kitchen. Comrade Jiyu Jiungwo was also blocking the kitchen door. He was not afraid of anything except his wife cooking. Don't you have any idea how good your wife is at cooking? Jiyu Yi also came over and formed a united front with his father and grandfather. We really can't let my mom into the kitchen. She knows how to make 9-turn large intestine, and she keeps the original flavor. After finishing, the juice will not be wasted, and she will use starch to thicken the large intestine. Ji Yi looked at Yining, Ian, and Xiaoxi again. He always felt that these three girls were all food destroyers. The best taste of food is its original flavor. The process of processing ingredients is actually to remove unpleasant flavors. The process of cooking is actually about the taste. Any food has its most perfect taste. The last step is seasoning, which is to bring out the original flavor of the ingredients to the extreme. The moment you take a bite, it's the ultimate enjoyment for your taste buds. This is what we call delicious food. Instead of blind innovation. When my mother cooks, she doesn't focus on deliciousness, but only on innovation. And it seems that she has found a few like-minded people. Mom, just leave the cooking to us. You guys sit back and watch TV for a while. You are such a good cook, but this is not a good place for you to cook. Next time, next time. Lin Wanqiu curled the corner of his mouth and pulled Yining to his side. I want to prove to you today that the food cooked by the women of the old Jiyu family is not bad. Why, do you think the food we cook is unpalatable? Yes, yes, yes. You have no idea how bad the food you cook is. Ji Yi and the others were complaining in their hearts at the same time, but they didn't dare to say it out loud. Before, Mr. Ji was stubborn and once said that the food Grandma cooked was bad. As a result, Grandma insisted on cooking for the family for a month, saying that she had to master her cooking skills, otherwise she would not be a qualified daughter-in-law. The old man begged and pleaded, but nothing worked and he simply lost control of the kitchen. God knows how dry the lunch he ate for a month was. Since then, the old man dared not mention it at all. If you think our food is unpalatable, then from now on, we will cook all 3 meals a day. Hard work can make up for lack of talent. One day, the cooking skills of us women in the Jiyu family will surpass those of you men. With a whoosh. Very soon. Mr. Jiyu and Jiyu Yi and the others immediately made way. Without any hesitation. Chapter 45, Filial Piety, the 6th child in the family. Hearing this, Jiyu Yi took the lead in speaking from her heart. Mom, your cooking is the best. My dad wants to eat it every day. That's right. When my son first came back, he kept talking about wanting to eat the food you cooked. My dad said that the food my wife cooked tastes like home. I'll give him some more later. My son said that no other taste is as good as the taste of his mother. I will give him more food later so that he can feel the taste of his mother. Mom, let's make the 9-turn large intestine. My dad said he loves it the most. Honey, let's make pig intestine sashimi. My son said he missed that taste the most. Jiyu Yi, you old bastard. Jiyu Jiungwo, I am a filial son to the death, but you are not as good as me. Hearing this, Chu Yining and the others looked at Lin Wanqiu with admiration. Wow, Tilda, it turns out Aunt Lin's cooking is so delicious. Yining will learn from Aunt Lin later. Millimeter Tilda Auntie is amazing. Since my uncle and brother-in-law like the food Auntie cooks so much, we won't eat it later and let them eat it. Jiyu Yi. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Jiyu Jiungwo. Killing people is not the right path, so why do it like this? Jiyu Xiesi tried hard to hold back her laughter. Family members, who understands? It is so difficult to hold back laughter. Ian and his sister-in-law have never eaten the food cooked by an Yang, but has she not eaten it either? This means that my father and my brother are blessed. I hope they can catch this huge wave of blessings. Mother, let's go quickly, my brother and the others can't wait any longer. Lin Wanqiu's face was flushed, and the corners of her mouth were so raised that she couldn't suppress it anymore. Praising her for her good cooking is much more effective than praising her for her beauty. Ening and Ian were able to flatter her very accurately. Mother Goo's eyes were burning and her palms were open. Swing forward. Let's go. Several grown men in the family sat on the sofa in the living room with their heads down. What's the point of living if I lose control of the kitchen? On the other side, the women in the kitchen were very excited, with sparkling eyes. For them, cooking is a novelty. Auntie Lynn, what shall we cook? I haven't cooked much before, and I'm worried that it won't taste good. Lin Wanchio curled the corners of his mouth and smiled faintly. Don't worry about whether it tastes good or not. We can't compare with Xiao Yi and his friends in terms of taste. We can only compare with them in terms of innovation. Innovation? Yes, the soul of food comes from innovation. Lin Wanchio stretched out a finger, a hint of confidence appearing on the corner of his mouth. I decided to make a blueberry eggplant dish. What kind of sparks will the unique combination of eggplant and blueberry create? Chu Ian asked, Mother, will it taste bad? Lin Wanchio waved his fingers left and right. Don't worry about whether it tastes good or not. Let Xiaoyi and the others try it first. We are mainly making it for them. Hearing this, several people's eyes lit up at the same time. No need to eat it yourself. Then you can play freely. Just give it a go and don't worry too much. Chu Yining blinked her beautiful eyes. Then I'll make banana fried rice. What kind of sparks will be created when bananas are used instead of eggs and rice? Upon hearing this, Ji Umar made a suggestion: add more soy sauce, so that they can't tell it's a banana. Mystery is also part of culinary innovation. Chu Yining agreed with this and decided to put more soy sauce in the banana fried rice later. Chu Ian blinked her beautiful eyes, looked at the surrounding ingredients, and said softly, Then I'll make a dish of beef fried with strawberries. The fragrance of strawberries goes well with beef, and I'll add more chili peppers. Maybe it will be super delicious and super good. After hearing this, Ji Umar also made a suggestion: the combination of strawberry pepper beef. Ian baby is really a genius, but Niang suggests adding some squid ink, so that they can feel the surprise when they eat it later. Wow! Auntie's suggestion is great, I'll release it in a moment. Ji Xiesi sighed secretly, and then added a lethal dose of vinegar. Compared with them, Xiaoxi felt that she still had a little talent in food. The hot and sour potato shreds are a bit too plain. Let us add some kiwi fruit, it's too plain. Let us add some chicken, it will be a bit fishy if you add meat. Let us put some shredded ginger in. Oops, there is too much shredded ginger, I can't pick it out, never mind, I don't eat it myself, hee hee. Let us watch Chu Yining cook again. The pan is cold, pour oil. Put the banana inside and mash it. Pour in the rice and stir. Add a lethal amount of dark soy sauce and stir. A lump of black, sticky substance was taken out of the pot and put on a plate. Then Chu Yining cooked. The pan is cold, pour oil. The strawberries are stuck inside, making crackling sounds. Pour the beef directly in and add a lethal amount of chili powder. Stir, stir, add sugar, add water, stir, stir. Add the jet black squid ink. Stir, stir, stir. Simmer for a few minutes, remove from the heat and serve. Yang, did you add salt? Do you want more salt? Ji Umar washed her hands, put on disposable gloves, grabbed a handful of salt, put her hands into the plate, and grabbed. It's okay, it's okay. Ian did a great job. It looks very appetizing. Really? Mom, do you want to try it? Mother Ji. Such delicious food should of course be saved for your brother-in-law and his family first. Chu Ian blinked her eyes, looking very innocent and super sweet. It's okay. There are so many. Try some first. Mother Ji. Har, okay, Auntie, try it first. Aunt Ji picked up a piece of pitch black beef, looked at it carefully, and slowly put it into her mouth. With a buzzing sound, a warm current surged through my body. Mother Ji shuddered all over. Then she chewed and laughed. Har, Ian's stir-fried beef with strawberries is so delicious. You must let your brother-in-law and his family try it more. The sound was heard outside the kitchen, and the old man who was waiting in the living room trembled with fear. Chu Ian blinked, her long eyelashes fluttering. Really? I want to try it too. Ji Umar stopped her and said with a chuckle, you are the youngest, so you should eat last. Let your brother-in-law and the others have a taste first. Oh, okay. Seeing Ms. Lin Wanchu's sincere eyes, Chu Ian finally believed in his cooking skills. I didn't expect that strawberries, beef, and chili stir-fry could be so delicious even if I forgot to add salt. Fortunately, my mother added a handful of salt just now, otherwise it wouldn't be so delicious. Ian is also a good cook. I will cook for my mom next time I go home. Chu Ian was thinking happily, while Chu Yajun, who was processing documents at home, shuddered inexplicably. Then it was Ji Mar's turn to cook. Peel the eggplant on both sides, cut into 8 small pieces, set aside and let dry. Heat lard and sprinkle with blueberries. After turning over, a large cup of soy sauce. Small blueberries, 18. Use a small cup of soy sauce and roll it once. Add a pinch of sugar and roll again. Cut blueberries into 120 pieces, about half an inch long. Then slowly remove from the heat. Chapter 46, What a touching scene of a loving father and a filial son. Mother Jiyu was full of confidence. She learned how to make this dish from Ji Li, the #1 gourmet on Douyin. It was guaranteed to be delicious. And innovation is also at its peak. When it is served, it will surely amaze everyone. Ji Mar opened her palm and waved it forward. Let's go, serve the food. Crash. Mother Jiyu walked in the front, followed by Chu Yining, Chu Ian, and Ji Xiaoxi, each holding a plate of their own specialty. The men in the living room were sitting on pins and needles. When they saw them carrying out the dishes, they immediately felt like they were facing a great enemy. My son, my dear grandson, I have a poor appetite recently and can't eat anything. I'll leave these dishes to you. Dad, you can't say that. If you run away, I'll tell them that you think their cooking is unpalatable. You little brat, you want to kill me. I never said that. I really just have a poor appetite. If you don't believe me, ask my dear grandson. Ji Yuyi's scalp was tingling, and just the smell made him want to run away. Grandpa, you don't have a good appetite. I'll go call Grandma over. Having said that, Ji Yuyi was about to stand up. You little bastard, come back here. Do you want to kill me with your filial piety? The old man and his family all use 5G network to keep up with the trend. Ji Yuyi looked serious and spoke righteously. Grandpa, you are the head of the family, so of course the food should be given to you first. Dad, you are the pillar of the family and have contributed so much to this family. You should eat the most delicious food. I'm just the youngest in the family. It's not my turn to have delicious food. Hearing this, the old man and comrade Ji Jungwo put their hands on their waists. If there was no one around, the 7 wolves would have pulled out their weapons. Look, is your grandson speaking human language? Do you think of me as the head of the family at this time? Mr. Ji, it is a tradition in our family to give way to the younger generation. Naturally, Xiaoyi will eat the delicious food first. Ji Jungwo, Dad, I agree with what you said. Xiaoyi is the future pillar of the family. He is only 25 years old and is still growing. He must eat more. Ji Yuyi's mouth twitched. Is that what people said? You can even say such things about the company commander's health. While a few people were arguing, Ji Mar and the others had already come out with their delicacies. They each held their own masterpiece in their hands. Grandma Shu, my grandmother, and my aunt came over to take a look, and their faces changed instantly. Then he hurriedly brought Ji Yuyi and the others to his front. Come on, show me. Mother Ji waved her hand with confidence and put the fried eggplant with blueberries she made on the table first. The blueberries were put in several times, some were still intact, and some had turned into a paste. The eggplant was peeled on 2 sides, but not on the other side. Mamar Ji was afraid that it would get sick if it wasn't cooked enough, so she cooked it over high heat to reduce the juice. Now it has become limp. Chu Yining's banana fried rice had turned black and mushy due to too much soy sauce. How should I put it? You can't figure out that this is fried rice no matter how hard you try. Chu Ian stir-fried beef with strawberries would not have looked too bad, but after adding cuttlefish ink, it became pitch black and you couldn't tell what was in it. That is to say, GUCSES spicy and sour potato shreds look like that. However, what they didn't know was that a lethal amount of vinegar was added to it, and a large amount of shredded ginger was mixed in it. Try them and comment on them. Snap. GUE stood up first. with righteous words and a serious face. In the face of such delicious food, I must say a few words first. Dear father, you have always worked hard and selflessly for this family. You are the backbone of the family, and you use your strong arms to protect this family from wind and rain. You have given so much to this family. At the same time, Gui silently turned on the BGM in his phone. I always asked you for things but never said thank you. It was not until I grew up that I realized how hard it was for you. Time, please slow down, don't let you grow old. I would give up everything I have in exchange for your longevity. Dad, I think these delicacies can only be supported by you. Eat the jupé first, eat quickly, Dad. Comrade Jiu Jungwo's face turned red, and everyone looked at her hopefully. Especially the BGM, father, is very sentimental. Grandma Jiu, yes, Jungwo, you are the pillar of the family, you should eat these delicacies first. Mr. Jiu, son, we have seen all your efforts for this family over the years. You are great. Come and eat. Sister-in-law, brother, you have white hair now. You have worked so hard these years. Come on and eat. This is what you deserve. Chu Ian's beautiful eyes were filled with tears. The song Father was playing, which resonated with her inner world. She picked up the strawberry beef she had cooked and handed it directly to Comrade Jiu Jungwo. The little face was sincere, and he said seriously word by word. Uncle, you are the mainstay of the family, and everyone can see it. Don't be modest. Try it, Tilda. She is cute and well behaved, her voice is sweet and sticky, and she has a super sweet face. There is no way a girl like this could refuse. If I reject a girl like this, I will have to slap myself in the face when I wake up in the middle of the night. How can I reject her? Comrade Jiu Jungwo raised the corners of his mouth slightly, revealing a faint smile. He smiled because he was moved by his son's filial piety. What a great song, father. What a pillar. He took the spicy dark version of stir-fried beef with strawberries handed to him by Yi Yang. He couldn't figure out what this thing was at all. Comrade Jiu Jungwo narrowed his eyes, made up his mind, and scooped a spoonful directly into his mouth. In an instant, a mess of flavors hit the taste buds. Strawberries, peppers, beef, unmelted salt, these things refreshed his understanding of food. Oh, shit, it feels like what I put in my mouth is a piece of shit. Chu Ian looked at him expectantly, blinking her big eyes twice, her long eyelashes fluttering beautifully. Uncle, is it delicious? Comrade Jiu Jungwo was very devastated. He didn't know why such a beautiful girl could cook such terrible food. Good. Comrade Jiu Jungwo gave a thumbs up. I wish I could hold your warm hand like before, but you are not beside me. I ask the breeze to send you my best wishes. Time, please slow down a little, don't let you grow old anymore, I would like to give you everything I have to make you live longer. Jiu Jungwo hummed along with the BGM, then held the banana fried rice made by Ening and looked at his father affectionately. Dad, you are the head of the family, and you are also the oldest elder in the family. This is Ening's first time coming to our house and cooking for the first time. Only you can eat this dish first. Jiu Jungwo wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and looked at his father with deep affection. Seeing this scene, everyone was deeply moved. What a touching picture of a loving father and a filial son. Could this be the inheritance? Chapter 47, Perfect Girlfriend Rule 4, Actively warm the bed for your boyfriend. Jiu Jungwo really cried. Having been cooking for his entire life, this was the first time he knew that such good ingredients could be cooked so badly. It was so unpalatable that I cried. He handed the banana fried rice to his old father, his eyes full of affection, and spoke each word with emphasis. Dad, please eat first. Grandma Jiu Jungwo is a good and filial child. Old man, please eat. Don't let your child down. Grandma, Wanqiu didn't marry the wrong person. Jungwo is a good and filial child. Grandpa Jiu, please try it. You are the eldest in the family. You must eat first before the younger generations dare to pick up their chopsticks. Aunt, Dad, this is my brother's love, woo, cuckoo, woo. Filial piety? Filial piety to death. Old man Jiu looked at the dark banana fried rice in front of him and his face turned red. At this time, Ening also came over and considerately served a large bowl of soup for the old man with a spoon. As for elders, the more you give, the more sincere you are. Old Master Gu was horrified by what he saw. Is this granddaughter-in-law going to send me away? Grandpa, this is my first time at home and my first time cooking. Please try it first. If it doesn't taste good. Before he finished speaking, Mr. Gu laughed and brought the fried rice over. It's delicious. How could it not be delicious? It's made by my granddaughter-in-law. It looks delicious at first glance. He really couldn't tell what it was made of. A mess. He scooped a spoonful and put it into his mouth in a big gulp. The strong taste bombardment refreshed his understanding of food. It has a sticky texture, a hint of soy sauce, and a strong salty taste mixed with the sweetness of banana. Oh, shit, it feels like what I put in my mouth is a piece of real shit. He really couldn't understand why such a pretty girl could turn food into shit. Millimeter. It's delicious. Yining is really talented in cooking. The dish he made for the first time was so delicious. If I'm guessing correctly, this is banana rice, right? Don't do it next time. It's banana fried rice. Is it really delicious? I will continue to make it for Grandpa next time. That's not necessary. Yining, don't get me wrong. Our family tradition is that men cook. Since you and Xiaoyi are together, it's natural for him to cook. Old Master Gu narrowed his eyes, smiled kindly, and said slowly, Xiaoyi, you have been away from home for 7 years. You can't eat the food your mother cooks. You must miss it very much. But how can Grandpa make the taste of your mother's food? It happens that your mother cooked this dish, so you can eat it all. Comrade Gu Jungwo also said with a smile, yes, it's inevitable that a child away from home would miss his mother. Unfortunately, his father can't make his mother's taste the same. Don't fight with Xiaoyi for it, let him eat it all. The picture of a loving father and filial son, and the happy family life together, is so touching. Grandma Gu, child, you've suffered a lot out there. Eat more. No one will snatch it from you. Grandma, no matter how bad the taste of mom's food is, it is incomparably delicious in the heart of a child. Xiaoyi, hurry up and eat it. I'll give it all to you. Aunt, I'm really touched. Cuckoo. Coo. Ji took a look at the blueberry eggplant his mother made, and he felt that he could be sent away by eating a bite. The taste of mother, although the starting point is good, but sometimes, please don't start. Ji picked up a blueberry and put it into his mouth. Wow, oh my god, it's so delicious, Tilda. It's really delicious, Tilda, Yining, Tilda, Ian, you guys come and try it too, Tilda. Mother Gu. Har 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 har, Yining Ian, you guys just don't eat it. Why, mother? My brother-in-law vomited because of the delicious food. It must be super delicious. Gu's mother's face flushed, har 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 har, you guys eat sieses, this is specially for your brother-in-law. Gu said, Grandma, Aunt, come and have a try. My cooking skills are guaranteed. Yining, wow, the spicy and sour potato shreds made by Xiaoxi are so delicious, Tilda. Ian, it's delicious, Tilda. Grandma Gu, har har har, it's all ginger, so delicious, Tilda. Grandma, so sour and spicy, har 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 har, Tilda. Aunt, har 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 har. After they each tasted their own dark dishes, the whole family burst into laughter. What is the most important thing for a family is actually tolerance and understanding. Love always feels like something is owed, but in many families, after being together for a long time, they all feel that the other party owes them something. No matter how good you are to her, she will feel that you owe her something. The reasons are sometimes outrageous, because she married you, so you owe her, because she gave birth to children for your family, so you owe her. Aren't these the choices I made in the first place? How can there be any debt? Good or bad, you deserve it because it is your own choice. After dinner, Yining leaned on the balcony and looked at the sky. There is a crescent moon and twinkling stars in the sky. She was now very glad for her choice 3 days ago. If she hadn't locked the car door 3 days ago and used threats and inducements to reach a couple's agreement with Ji, there would be no happiness today. Many times, she doesn't know how to be a good girlfriend, but she wants to be his perfect girlfriend. She even secretly searched on the internet for how to become a perfect girlfriend. But the content inside. Under the moonlight, Yining's cheeks flushed. The first rule for a perfect girlfriend: take the initiative to chat with your boyfriend. This is not difficult. I just need to be more proactive in the future. The second rule for a perfect girlfriend: take the initiative to send selfies to your boyfriend. Chu Yining's cheeks flushed. She remembered that time in the car, when she was wearing black stockings, and Ji Yuyi's eyes always pretended to casually sweep across her legs. I really wanted to see it, but I pretended to see it casually. This guy likes legs and black stockings, right? Can you send him more photos of black stockings and legs next time? Chu Yining was very confident about her legs. Of all the legs she had seen, only Ian's could compare with hers. It's not enough to have long legs, they also need to be proportional to their body, have overall symmetry, and be whitening and well maintained. It is rare to be able to be as perfect as Chu Yining. Her legs are the real-life version of legs, which serve as a reference template for authors of comic books. The third rule for a perfect girlfriend: take the initiative to kiss your boyfriend. Chu Yining's cheeks became even redder. Today in the car, Ji Yuyi kissed her forehead. After arriving at his house, she also took the initiative to kiss him. But this seemed not enough. Those couples kiss for a long time. Do you want to be more proactive? The fourth rule for a perfect girlfriend: take the initiative to warm your boyfriend's bed. The blush on Chu Yining's cheeks quickly spread to the base of her neck. Warming the bed is too embarrassing. No, now that I have made the decision, I should not be afraid. He is my choice, my most determined choice, and the only choice I want. Isn't it just warming the bed? Is there something I, Chu Yining, can't do? A big bag of sugar for support tilde. Chapter 48. These gifts add up to 150 million. The fifth rule of being a perfect girlfriend: take the initiative to make delicious food for your boyfriend. Let's just forget about that. What I cooked tasted terrible, and if I cooked too much he might want to break up with me. In the night, a faint silver glow shone on her face. Chu Yining leaned against the balcony, revealing her graceful waist. There is a bunch of white tassels on their waist, which looks like the skirt of the fairy Chang'e under the moonlight. Chu Yining is very beautiful. She is beautiful no matter which angle you look at her from. Under the moonlight, she stood there quietly, leaning against the balcony. There is an expectation of a peaceful and quiet time. Just like the ancients portrayed the most beautiful expectation in the poem, holding your hand, growing old with you. The zither and the harp are in the palace, everything is peaceful and good. It turns out that the most beautiful things had answers thousands of years ago. Ji Yuyi slowly walked over, leaned close to her ear, and sniffed her breath. The woman's body fragrance lingered in his nose. Yining, can I hug you? Chu Yining didn't look back. The royal sister said in a low and magnetic voice, you are my boyfriend, don't ask such stupid questions anymore. This is the last time I ask you this question. After saying that, Ji Yuyi put his arms around Chu Yining's waist from behind. A refreshing fragrance wafts into the air. The fragrant and soft touch stimulated every nerve of Ji Yuyi. The moment I hugged Yining from behind, my heart was pounding. Plop, plop. Feeling the soft and fragrant touch of the waist, Ji Yuyi felt that every cell in his body was activated, and he cheered with excitement. Sometimes, men really don't need to blame themselves for being lustful. Because cells and genes are LSP, they cannot be controlled and they all have their own ideas. I want to learn. Brain, I want to watch something pornographic. Ahem, that's what happened. The body fragrance of Chu Yining made Ji Yuyi fascinated by it. One puff, it works better than smoking. Their whole body feels relaxed and comfortable, and all the fatigue is gone. It's true that my cells like this. I can't stop thinking about it after smelling this body fragrance. If the cells are not rotting, how can the body not be healthy? Therefore, there is factual basis for saying that it is beneficial to physical and mental health. Ji Yuyi hugged Chu Yining from behind and looked at him. The crescent moon is bright in the sky. The woman in my arms is peaceful. Ji Yuyi rubbed his cheek against her hair and sniffed the fragrance. Chu Yining put her hand in Ji Yuyi's palm, and Ji Yuyi naturally took it. Why give such an expensive gift? Ji Yuyi said softly. Although the Ji Yu family is not wealthy, the old man and his family have seen the world. The gifts sent by Yining are obviously valuable. Especially the bracelet on my mother's hand. Even people who don't know much about jewelry can tell that it is very expensive. In fact, what they didn't know was that the real value of the bracelet on Ji Yu Ma's hand was 130 million. When it comes to gifts for her future mother-in-law, Chu Yining has never considered anything less than 100 million yuan. This is my future mother-in-law, so the first impression cannot be bad. I don't know how Ms. Lin Wanqiu would feel if she knew she had 130 million yuan on her hand. It's just a little token of my appreciation. It's my first time visiting your home, so I can't come empty-handed. Chu Yining smiled and said, I received a lot of red envelopes today, adding up to more than 60,000 yuan. The first time he came to their house, he gave a red envelope of more than 60,000 yuan. The Jiyu family was not stingy and showed great sincerity and importance. However, they did not know that Yining would give them so many expensive gifts. Tell me the truth, how much did you spend on these gifts, so I can have an idea of how much you spent? What? Next time I go to your house, I have to return the favor. Return the gift? Chu Yining asked with some doubt in his tone. It's a rule to give gifts and reciprocity. You don't really think I'm poor, do you? To tell you the truth, I served in the army for 7 years, and when I retired, the organization gave me a lump sum of money. A full million. Ji Yuyi pinched her slender white hand and said confidently, You don't think I can't pay it back? Gift, right? If you don't show your financial situation, you'd really think you're a pauper. 25 years old, independent of parents, with 1 million in savings. Not bad, right? Few tilde. Chu Yining couldn't help herself, a cunning look appeared on her pretty face. Do you really want to return the favor? Certainly. Those things add up to about 1.5. Ji Yuyi smiled, 50,000. 150 million. Ji Yuyi had something in his mind, but he didn't know whether he should say it or not. Suddenly I remembered an essay Xiaoxi wrote when she was a child. The title of the essay was My Brother is the Richest Man in the Country. The house we live in is very big, with 2 households per floor and 2 living rooms. My brother usually carries 10 million yuan in cash when he goes out. Today, I got 100 points in the exam, so my richest brother rewarded me by taking me to the most expensive buffet, which cost 98 yuan per person. After dinner, we also went to the most expensive luxury store in Beijing. My brother asked the waiter to pick down the most expensive school bag on the wall, and bought it for me without much bargaining. Poverty limits imagination. Rich and inhumane. Ji Yuyi suddenly felt that Chu Yining was too good to him. When a boy finds out that there is a particularly good girl who treats him very well, he will suddenly feel anxious and worried. Is there anything about me that deserves her to be so nice to me? Boys are often more rational than emotional, but their emotions often overshadow their rationality. When a boy is loved, his first reaction is often, do I deserve to be loved like this? Yining, I'm actually not as good as you think. I don't have the abilities you imagine. Before I retired, I might have some strength and could have helped you. But now, I am just an ordinary person, a security guard in your company. I don't want you to choose me because of some misunderstandings. Your kindness to me will give me an illusion. Ji Yuyi sighed secretly. He has retired. Choosing to retire means giving up everything the organization has given you, even if these things were once created by him. He is now just an ordinary person. The gift Chu Yining gave him was worth 150 million yuan, how could he afford it? Recently, there have been more and more illusions like, she likes me, and Ji Yuyi feels a little uneasy. When Ji Yuyi saw Chu Yining's kindness to him, his first reaction was, is he worthy of her being so nice to him? What about me? What do I have? Chu Yining's voice suddenly became a little sad. She let go of Ji Yuyi's hand, turned around, and looked at him in a daze. There is a gleam of tears in the corner of the eyes, and the peach-like eyes are rippling with autumn water, which is touching. My growth history is a history of watching my relatives pass away one after another. I can never get what I want, and I can never do anything to protect the people I want to protect. I am such a useless person. Tears filled up in Chu Yining's eyes, and her long eyelashes were stained with fine water droplets. She blinked gently. The water droplets condensed and slowly slid down the cheeks. 2 clear tear marks appeared on Chu Yining's beautiful little face. The teardrops fell onto Ji Yuyi's palm, and with a snap, they shattered into many petals. You think I don't like you and I chose you just because of your abilities, right? Chapter 49 Men, domineering is the end of the matter. Chu Yining's eyes were cold as she stared into Ji Yuyi's eyes. Tears were still gathering in the corners of her eyes, sliding down along the tear marks. Ji Yuyi's heart tightened. It hurts a little. Heartbroken. Her growth experience was not as glamorous as others imagined. On the contrary, only she knew the bitterness. Gui didn't know how she managed to survive, but if he had to experience his family members dying one by one in front of him, he couldn't imagine the pain that would be. Yining, I'm sorry, Oh, you suspect that I don't like you at all, right? Chu Yining stared at Gui with his cold eyes. Gui sighed softly. I just want to tell you that I'm just an ordinary person, there's nothing worth your liking. As soon as the words fell, Chu Yining suddenly grabbed Gui's collar and pulled hard. The two of them were very close to each other. The next moment, Chu Yining stood on tiptoe, held Gui's cheeks with both hands, and kissed him savagely without saying a word. Her movements were immature and she had no skills at all. Her rosy lips were pressed tightly against Gui's mouth. Still with a hint of anger, she moved closer, stood on tiptoe, and held Gui's cheeks tightly with both hands. The tears have not dried yet. Hot breath. She seemed to be using all her strength to prove to Gui, I like you, you deserve to be liked, you are my firm choice. If I don't like you, would I be your girlfriend? If I don't like you, would I try my best to integrate into your family? If I don't like you, would I call you husband in the company group? Asshole. What kind of woman do you think Chu Yining, The moment Chu Yining's lips touched Gui's lips, he froze. When that delicate touch came, Gui instantly felt a warm current surging and vibrating all over his body, as if all the cells in his body were in an excited state. Chu Yining's kiss was filled with anger, and it turned from a kiss to a bite. Her lips were slightly opened, and her neat white teeth bit Gui's lips, applying a little force, but not too hard. The tear marks on her pretty face were not yet dry, and because she was reluctant to bite him hard, the emotion turned into grievance. Always questioning my love for you. I guess you don't like me that much. I have no experience in love, I have a bad personality, and I am old, and you have plenty of reasons to dislike me. I'm already trying my best to be a perfect girlfriend, can't you give me some time? She stood on tiptoe, held Gui's cheeks with both hands, and bit his lips lightly with her pearly teeth. The tear marks on her cheeks became wet again. Gui sensed Chu Yining's emotions and felt a little apologetic. He didn't want to ask such stupid questions next time. Men should just be domineering and that's it. He hugged Chu Yining's slender waist and pulled her tightly into his arms. She was so tender in his arms that I felt pity for her. Chu Yining's beautiful eyes were still sparkling with tears, and the crystal tears hung on her eyelashes, refusing to fall. The cold and delicate little face was filled with resentment, and the bright red little mouth was crystal clear. The woman's unique fragrance filled his nostrils, and Gui's mood changed quietly at this moment. Gui then leaned over, opened his mouth wide, and kissed Chu Yining's lips hard and painfully. The movements were equally rough, immature, and devoid of any skill. Buzz. I felt like something exploded in my brain. It is a sweetness beyond imagination. Gui absorbed it greedily, but only got a little saliva, but it was 100 times sweeter than anything he had ever tasted. When the two of them were kissing each other, Grandma Gui and the others, along with Ian and Xiaoxi, had already gathered at the edge of the balcony. The spectators, bring your little stools, eat melon seeds and feast on dog food. Ian and Xiaoxi's eyes lit up as they watched, one side showing off their love for the boy, the other side wishing they could rush over to give him some personal guidance. Oh, so stupid, how come my brother has no kissing skills at all? He kissed for a long time with his mouth closed. Wow, sister. Sister, don't close your mouth so tightly, you should stick out your tongue when you kiss, it's written in the books, sticking out your tongue makes kissing more comfortable. Chu Yan is a writer of sweet stories. She has many such scenes in her mind. Although she has never been in a relationship, it does not stop her from teaching others how to kiss in her novels. Wow, so sweet Tilda. Gu Mar and the others were watching with great interest. They couldn't help but smile. Oh, they kept smiling the whole day. It's great to be young. Yes, this is obviously our first kiss. I don't understand anything, but the first kiss is always the most beautiful. The most beautiful form of love is passionate, pure, and clean. People like this are the happiest when they stay together till the end. Life is hard, but love can overcome all difficulties. Time will wear away many things, but two people who truly love each other will always remember the shape of love. Love is not an abstract thing, but the concrete person in front of you. It's great. Two people who love each other have love. Love can make the bitterness sweet. Grandma Gu, Grandma, and Mom Gu, the three of them are all experienced people. They have experienced the hardships of life, but they have never complained. Because, when you are with the one you love, even the bitterness can be sweet. Eat a meal, take a walk, watch the leaves fall in the wind, watch the clouds roll by. How can life not be bitter? But why should we focus on those bitter things? Simple things, with love, can be sweet. Grandma Gu's eyes flashed with tears, and she said softly, "The person in front of you is more important than anything else. The true meaning of happiness is to cherish the person in front of you." When I first met the old man, my parents refused to let me marry him. Mom, didn't you regret it back then? Mother Gu spoke softly. In the past, when the old man was drunk, he blurted out everything he had been holding in his heart. The old man's love rival back then was a heavyweight figure. Not only was his family prominent, but he himself also held the rank of Major General. He is young and promising, has a bright future, and is handsome. More importantly, the old man's love rival is deeply in love with Grandma Gu and is determined to marry her. I heard that he has not married yet because of Grandma Gu, and he will wait until they get divorced to marry her. However, Grandma Gu resolutely married Grandpa Gu. No, why should I regret it? What makes me sad is that my parents thought I married the wrong person until the moment they died. They loved me, otherwise I wouldn't have married an old man, but they were wrong. Happiness is not about living for others to see. Happiness is about cherishing the one you love and the one in front of you. If Grandma Gu had married that Major General back then, she would probably have power that ordinary people could hardly imagine. Her descendants will all excel. And now, she only has an ordinary old man and an ordinary home. The old man loved her all his life and cooked delicious food for her all his life. An ordinary home, but extra warm. Look, Yining and Xiaoyi are so good. This proves that the children we train are always good. A man who cares about his family is worth marrying. Yeah, Ian also wants to marry a man like my brother-in-law. Chu Ian responded to Grandma Gu's words, her sweet little face full of longing. Oh. Grandma Gu loved little Ian very much, and immediately said in a joking tone, "Then you and your sister can get married together." Chapter 50, It's all my fault, and now what? You made me pregnant. Chu Ian blinked, her beautiful eyes flickering. Is it really possible? I don't need to get a marriage certificate or get married. As long as I can be with my sister and brother-in-law every day, it's fine. Ian's idea is very simple. As long as she can be with her sister and brother-in-law, they don't need to be separated. She doesn't care about anything else. The brother-in-law belongs to my sister. Although she likes Brother Yi, as long as Brother Yi leaves a little bit of space for her in his heart, just a little bit will be enough. She would not compete with her sister for her brother-in-law because she likes Brother Yi and also likes her sister. Silly child. Grandma is just joking. There are many good men. You will meet a boy you like in the future. Grandma Gu said softly. Mother Gu rubbed Yi Yang's hair, feeling a little distressed. This child was fooled by Xiaoxi. She asked Xiaoxi just now, and it was exactly as she guessed. If it weren't for Yining, Gu's mother would definitely like this well-behaved, sensible and lovable daughter-in-law very much. However, Xiaoyi already has Yining, so Ian is impossible, and Xiaoyi is not the kind of person who is fickle. Ian, you don't know how many people admire you. You will meet a better boy in the future. Chu Ian felt a little sad and said weakly, I just want to be with my sister and brother-in-law. Is that okay? Xiaoxi gently pulled Ian's hand and said, Mother, Ian is not that complicated. Just let her do what she wants. She won't hurt anyone. Xiaoxi has been with Ian for the longest time, so he is the one who understands her the most. She knew that Ian was the kind of person who would rather hurt himself than hurt others, let alone the relatives she cared about. Mother Gu was stunned for a moment, and suddenly realized that she shouldn't impose her own ideas on Yi Yang. She is as pure and clean as a piece of white paper. What she wants is simple, and all she wants to do is give. This girl makes me feel sorry for her. Okay, I'll tell your brother-in-law in a minute that is not allowed to bully you in the future. You can stay with him as long as you want. Hearing this, Chu Ian threw himself into Lin Wanqiu's arms, his heart fluttering, his smile bright and sweet. The voice is soft and sticky, super gentle. Thank you, Auntie Tilda. For Ian, this is enough, this is her happiness. Oh, I suddenly wish my brother-in-law and sister would have a baby soon so I can take the baby out to play. Hearing this, Gucs's face was full of excitement, just like that emoticon pack. Wow, so excited. Yes, yes, yes. My brother is so handsome, and my sister-in-law is so beautiful. The baby must be so adorable. I will be the most handsome boy when I take him out to show off on the street. Hee 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 hee. At the same time, the eyes of Gu grandma, and grandma were shining and their gazes were burning, and their eyes gradually became hot. Finally, we come to the most exciting topic. They have been holding it in for a long time. The cause of the incident started with their voice message sent by Xiaoxi. Grandma Gu took out her phone and clicked it, and their voice message started playing. By the way, sister, you said you were going to get engaged to your brother-in-law next month, so when are you planning to have a baby? Yes, yes, when will the baby be born? Grandpa, grandma, parents, they all love babies. I'm already preparing for pregnancy, and I plan to have a baby this year. Is that right, Gu? Yes, yes. The few of them looked at each other. Aunt Gu stopped cracking melon seeds and looked at the two people kissing on the balcony. The corners of her mouth slowly raised, and she spoke slowly in a voice that could just be heard on the balcony. Xiaoxi, is it true that your brother and sister-in-law are going to get engaged next month and plan to have a baby this year? The other side. The two people, who had been kissing for more than 10 minutes, slowly came back to their senses after hearing their voice chat. Chu Yining lowered her head, her little face flushed, and buried her head in Gu's arms. Her body curled up slightly. With Gu blocking her, she acted like an ostrich. Gu put his arm around Chu Yining's slender waist, with his hands placed right on the back of Yining's waist. Looking from above, the curve of her waist and hips was absolutely beautiful, which could make people feel distracted at a glance. However, at this time, Gu had no time to appreciate the beautiful scenery, because the marriage urging team has evolved into the childbirth urging team. This is just the beginning. He and Chu Yining had only known each other for 3 days at most, and they still had a contract. No matter what, the renewal period has to pass and the couple has to be sure of each other's feelings. Only then will the whole family be eager to have a baby. Gu leaned close to Chu Yining's ear and lowered his voice. Yining, you did a great job. If you can't solve it, just prepare to get the marriage certificate with me next month. It will be too late to regret it then. The hot air exhaled by Gu hit Chu Yining's ears, giving her a slightly itchy feeling. The blush on her cheeks quickly spread to the base of her neck. She squeezed hard into Gu's arms without saying anything. I caused the trouble, but I won't solve it. What can you do to me? If you have the guts, go get the marriage certificate and have a baby. Do you think I, Chu Yining, would be afraid? The skirt Chu Yining was wearing was made of very soft and not thick fabric. Holding her in his arms, Gu could almost feel her figure. She was soft and fragrant in his arms, with a body fragrance that he could never get tired of. Gu wanted to be angry, but he had no place to vent his anger. This girl clearly wanted to give up and threw the problem directly to him. Chu Yining, don't play dead. You were the one who caused the baby to be born. If you don't explain, then we can only give birth to a baby to get by. Chu Yining's cheeks became even redder, but she remained silent. Come on, who's afraid of who? If you dare to come, I will give birth. I caused the trouble, and now what? You make me pregnant. Chu Yining made up his mind and said nothing. I am like this, what can you do to me? Gu rubbed Chu Yining's waist with his big hand, which seemed like he was venting his anger. This girl is going too far. Take all the blame on yourself for your own mistakes. Okay, let's play it this way, eh? Gu lowered his voice and bit Chu Yining's earlobe gently, without using much force. Unexpectedly, Chu Yining opened her small lips slightly, made a hum sound, and then her whole body seemed to have no strength left, and she collapsed in Gu's arms. Sensitive area? A word suddenly popped up in Gu's mind. Chapter 51. How dare I examine him? It was Gu who examined me. Cough cough cough. Did you discover Yining's weakness? Just then, several voices rang out. The spectators have had enough of the dog food and are ready to start urging the birth of a new baby. Brother, when are you going to marry a sister-in-law? Ji Xiao's smiling voice suddenly sounded, and it was quite loud. Brother-in-law, when will you and sister have a baby? Chu Yian's laughter was also heard. Xiao Yi, grandma is very satisfied with your performance today. You are a responsible man. So, is your engagement with Yining true? Hearing this, Ji Yi's face froze. Did he dare to tell a lie? If he dares to say anything false, he will immediately be labeled a scumbag. Yining has treated you like this and even took the initiative to propose engagement. How dare you say it's false? If he says fake, he can wrap himself in a small blanket in the bridge hole tonight. But this thing was clearly proposed by Chu Yining, and now she is playing ostrich again. Damn it. Ji Yi turned around, and Chu Yining continued to hide, with his head resting on his back, trying hard to reduce his presence and play a bad game. Really? Of course it's true, har har, but. The word but had just been spoken. Brush, brush, brush. My mother and the others all looked over at me, their faces darkening. But what? Ji Ma's tone was light, but it always felt threatening. Ji Yi curled his lips, no, no. As soon as the words fell, Ji Ma and the others changed their expressions, smiling happily, and looked at Ji Yi with eyes that said, I'll tell you the truth. Chu Yining pursed her lips. With Ji Yi blocking her way, she almost laughed out loud just now. The icy little face hiding behind Ji Yi now showed a hint of pride, as if she had won a big battle. With this relationship, Ji Yi should not dare to refuse to renew the contract. If he dares to refuse to renew the contract, let's see how he explains it then. It seems that this someone can't escape from my grasp and is destined to be my husband. Ji Yining rested her head against Ji Yi's back, held his waist with both hands, and turned around happily, her fingertips also stroking Ji Yi's waist. At this moment, Ji Yi put his arm around Chu Yining's shoulders and brought her directly in front of everyone. Want to hide? No way. Come out. Ji Yi put his arm around Chu Yining's shoulders, letting her lean halfway against his chest, and smiled brightly. We have decided to get engaged next month, but we haven't decided on the exact date. For something like an engagement, we have to choose an auspicious day. What do you think, Yining? Hearing Ji Yi asking her, Chu Yining turned her body to the side, lowered her head, and hid in Ji Yi's arms again, looking shy and embarrassed. Want me to talk? No way. I got into trouble, and now what? You make me pregnant. It is impossible to face it. I am the kind of girl who accepts everything that comes my way. When girls are faced with something that makes them particularly shy, they will suddenly become very submissive. In fact, it is quite the opposite. It is not something we accept but something we look forward to. Just like when you first started dating, when you kissed her, she would always act like she was resisting, and then half-heartedly, she would accept it. But after the kiss, she will become very happy again, and even be particularly happy all day long. Therefore, it is actually very simple to judge whether a girl likes you or not. If she likes to be with you, will be happy because of you, and smiles like a flower, then it proves that, at least at this moment, one of her hearts belongs to you. It's a good day. I'll look at the calendar. I'll check the calendar, too. After flipping through the calendar, everyone came to a surprisingly consistent answer. The 1st of next month is the best day. Time passed quickly and it was 10 o'clock in a short while. Ji Yi and his friends came back quite late, and Gu's mother brought a group of little girls with her who were determined to show off their understanding of culinary innovation. Time flies and it's already 10 o'clock. At this time, Ji Yi must send Yining and Ian back. Grandma, Aunt Lin, Grandpa, Uncle Ji, Aunt Xiaoxi, goodbye. Chu Yining greeted the Ji family members one by one, being gentle, gracious and beautiful. Who wouldn't like a girl like this? The Ji family paid enough attention to her, and so did Yining. She did her homework the first time she met them and was able to chat with every elder in the family. Generally speaking, when girls meet their parents, the conversation is basically in the nationwide household registration mode. But the Ji family was different. They didn't ask about those external conditions at all. If they loved each other, no matter how ordinary Chu Yining was, they would not despise him if he was not a good man. No matter how outstanding Chu Yining was, they would not care. What the Ji family pursues is a simple and peaceful life and family happiness. It is a lifelong blessing for people who warm each other to become a family. Yining, come to our house often. Treat this place as your own home. Xiaoyi is our only son, and we don't have a daughter. When we see you, we are really envious. If we had a daughter like you, we would be so happy. Mother Jiyu took Yining's little hand, held it in her palm, and couldn't let go. She saw the handwritten blessing that Yining wrote to her. This child is very thoughtful and a good girl. Aunt Lin, I will. As long as Jiyu doesn't dislike me, I can come every day. What, he dares? I dare not. Jiyu spread his hands. His skillful and decisive manner made people feel distressed. I don't dare to do that at all. With this attitude, if I dare to bully her a little, this girl will complain right away. Oh. Woman. That's all I'm capable of doing, which is filing a complaint. Shameful. Jiyu made up his mind that he must please his mother-in-law, and the next time Chu Yining provokes him, he will complain to her. Whatever you want, I'll go live at my mother-in-law's house. I won't take you back unless you ask me to. Yining, our old and dilapidated apartment is going to be rebuilt, and we will give it to you as your wedding house. Of course, you can also investigate further to determine whether Xiaoyi is someone worthy of you marrying. Chu Yining said softly, why do I need to be examined? It's Jiyu who examines me. What, he dares? I dare not. Jiyu didn't even raise his head. He looked so weak, pitiful and helpless that it made people feel distressed. Oh. Chu Yining's acting skills are unmatched. There's no need for me to be examined. It's Jiyu who's examining me. It sounds better than singing. There's no need for examination. Just go and have a baby if you have the ability. You're the only one who can act, but I can't. Next time I go to your house, I will let you see what real acting is, Jiyu thought secretly. Grandpa, Grandma, Grandma, Mother, Uncle, Aunt, Xiaoxi, goodbye. Ian also greeted the Jiyu family one by one. The voice is soft and sweet. Coupled with Ian's already super sweet and pure appearance, hearing her call, my heart felt warm. Chapter 52 Awakening Sister. Ian often comes to our house to play. From now on, Niang will be Ian's second mother. Woo, Mother Tilda. Chu Ian threw himself into Jiyu Ma's arms and hugged her tightly. Ian, come with your sister when you have time, and let your brother-in-law pick you up. Everyone likes you very much. Yes, Ian, everyone likes you very much. Jiyu Xiesi took Chu Ian's delicate little hand and led her between Chu Yining and Jiyu Yi. Such a little baby should be pampered by her sister and brother-in-law, and when necessary, they can also help to have a baby or something. Jiyu Yi glanced at the time. Almost done, I'll send them back. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Chu Ian was holding Chu Yining's hand, and Jiyu Yi wanted to hold Yining's hand, but Yining obviously wanted Ian to be in the middle. Jiyu Yi, hold Yi Yang's hand. Jiyu Yi did not refuse and held Yi Yang's delicate little hand with his right hand. Ian's hands are softer than Yining's, and Yining's hands are more bony, but both are slender. Holding it in the hand, it feels slightly cool, like a piece of beautiful jade. Accustomed to holding hands, when Jiyu held Chu Ian's hand, they also intertwined their fingers. A blush appeared on Chu Ian's sweet little face. It doesn't look like an adult holding a child's hand, but more like an adult holding a sister's hand. So this is how the young wife feels. The moonlight shines down, and the little crescent moon in the sky is not as pretty as the little crescent moon formed by the curved eyebrows and eyes. Jiyu suddenly thought that Xiaoxi had been training Yi Yang as his wife, but then he thought he was totally overthinking it. Lately I've been having the first of the three greatest illusions in life, she likes me. How could Ian, who is so outstanding and beautiful, like someone who is 7 years older than him and whom he has never even met? Maybe he was moved by the stories Ceci made up and developed a kind of worship for her, imagining her as perfect. But when he met her in person, he let go completely. Brother-in-law, you're such a good person, why haven't you ever been in a relationship before? Yi Yang was in the middle, holding hands with her sister and brother-in-law and shaking them happily while walking. Her happiness was really simple. Being able to hold the hands of her sister and brother-in-law at the same time, she felt that she was the happiest person in the world. Chu Yining suddenly said something out of the blue, with a teasing tone in her royal sister's voice. Maybe no one likes it, it's like wood. Hearing this, Jiyu was not convinced. Who said no one likes me? The conditions in the army didn't allow that. When I was in high school, There were many girls who liked me. Oh, really? Chu Yining curled his lips and instantly became interested. Tell me about it. On the other side, after delivering today's takeaway and buying a midnight snack for his girlfriend, Fatty Chen Fu dragged his tired body back home. It's really tiring. It's not a job for humans to earn over 10,000 yuan a month by doing manual labor. Chen Fu rubbed his shoulders and neck, feeling exhausted all over. But when he thought of his girlfriend waiting for him at home, he felt sweet even though he was tired. Qian, I'm back. I brought you milk tea, small cakes, and fried chicken legs. Chen Fu shouted as soon as he entered the door, his voice tired but with joy. Honey, I'm coming, I'm riding on you, enlarge it, wow. Honey, you're awesome, triple kill. Qian, someone called you just now, who was it? Oh, it's my dad who's back. He brought me some milk tea. Let's not talk about it for now. I'll eat something and we'll play again later. Yeah, I'll wait for you. He, my husband is so nice. Zhao Qian turned off their voice chat, walked up to Qian Fu angrily, snatched the food from Qian Fu's hand, gave him a cold look, and then ignored him. Qian Fu followed with a licked face and spoke quickly. I'm sorry Qian, I was too loud just now. How many times have I told you not to make such loud noises? You've ruined my mood for playing games. Zhao Qian took a bite of the cake, then looked at Qian Fu with disgust. The fat and stupid man in front of her made her feel more and more disgusted. She still preferred her husband in the game. The skin is nice and her voice is nice. I really want to break up with this fat guy. Of course, she could only think about breaking up with Qian Fu. Her appearance and figure were not outstanding. There was a big mole at the corner of her mouth. Her face shape was a bit like a female version of PDD, and she was only 159 centimeters tall. She is now taking civil service exams and has no income at all. She won't be able to find another man like Qian Fu who is so considerate to her and even gives her all his salary. Although she is taking the civil service exam, in her heart, she is already a prospective civil servant. She doesn't think highly of low-class men like Qian Fu who deliver food. In short, consciousness awakening, spiritual independence, and economic dependence. Qian, I seem to hear you calling the boy in the game husband just now. The fat man's heart ached. He didn't know what he did wrong. Why did she call another boy in the game husband? Zhao Qian raised her eyebrows, threw the cake she had taken a few bites of at the fat man, crossed her arms in front of her chest, and said angrily. Why are you yelling? I've been studying all day and finally have some time to relax and play games. I need someone to guide me, but you don't have time to accompany me. I finally had a chance to relax, but you ruined my good mood. If I fail the civil service exam, it's all your fault. The fat man was covered with cakes. The cakes fell to the floor and turned into mud. He was already tired after a long day, and now his clothes and the floor were all dirty. He had to work again soon. Thinking of this, the fat man felt extremely tired. Why is it so difficult to be a good man? What am I doing wrong? Qian, don't be angry. I have to work. I really can't accompany you. Is work more important or am I more important? Zhao Qian retorted directly without even looking at him. Whenever I see him, I feel bad. If I wasn't taking the civil service exam and had no income, I would have wanted to break up with him long ago. If I don't work, where will we get the money for food and other things? You call that work? You call delivering food work? You just don't know how to make progress. The fat man's face flushed, and he was a little overwhelmed. Qian, how can you say that to me? I have been working hard for our future. I can also earn 10,000 yuan a month. As he spoke, the fat man took out his mobile phone and transferred 10,000 yuan to Zhao Qian's phone via WeChat. Whoosh tilde. When Zhao Qian saw the transfer information, she immediately clicked on it to receive the payment. Only then did her expression ease a lot. I'm not saying anything bad about you, but when will you stop delivering food? Didn't you say you ran into your high school classmate this morning? Didn't you say he was the top student in his grade and had a bright future? Don't you know how to curry favor with him? Chapter 53. He is now worse off than me. Zhao Qian had heard him talk about this classmate before. His name was Ji Yi. He had always been the top student in high school. Even the teachers told them to keep in touch with him after graduation. Just hold on to his thighs. The big guys will help you at any time, and you can save yourself 20 years of hard work. This time the fat guy met this classmate. It is said that they had a good relationship in high school. If the fat guy could get close to this classmate, he would not have such a small income. Although Zhao Qian doesn't make a penny, it doesn't affect her looking down on men who earn 10,000 yuan a month. Speaking of this, the fat man's heart darkened, and he sighed for a long time before he said, "He's doing worse than me now, working as a security guard in the company where I delivered food today." Zhao Qian was shocked. What? Being a security guard? How could the top student in your school end up being a security guard? The fat man took out his phone and found the class group that hadn't had any messages for a long time. He scrolled through it and sighed. He didn't go to college, he joined the army, and when he was discharged he only had a high school diploma, so he could only find a security job. Zhao Qian sneered. She thought he was some big shot, but he turned out to be a security guard. Then his life is completely ruined. He won't be able to find a wife at all. He seemed to say he had a girlfriend. He's just trying to save face. Which girl do you think would be interested in a security guard? Unless she's seriously ill. Even if he has a girlfriend, do you think they can get married? Will the girl marry him in the end? Zhao Qian's lips curled up with contempt and disdain. Girls nowadays have awakened. Those men who still want to get something for free should please open their eyes and see the world. Don't cry when their defenses are broken. You mean, he doesn't have a girlfriend at all? Otherwise, he's just trying to save face. How could such a person have a girlfriend? Do you think girls today are still as blind as they were before? Girls today have awakened and are growing up independently. They know what they want and will become better and better. Zhao Qian's tone was a little arrogant, and she didn't even look at the fat man, as if she was talking about herself. The fat man seemed to be thinking of something. "Qian, you eat first. I'll clean up the cake on the floor later. I'm going to do something." Go away, go away. I'm annoyed just by seeing you. I'm going to play a few games. Please keep quiet for a while. The fat man walked to the balcony and first pulled Ji into the class group. In these 7 years, Ji seemed to have disappeared from the face of the earth. None of his old high school classmates could contact him, and he was not in the class group. By the way, he is also the class monitor of Class 4. Because of his absence, Class 4 has not held a class reunion for many years. I remember that many girls in the class had a crush on him at that time, and the fat guy suddenly thought of someone in his mind. Senior grade 3 and 4 class group. Ji joins the group chat. As soon as the news came out, the originally extremely quiet class group was like pouring boiling water into a scalding oil pan. Wow wow wow. Boil thoroughly. Yu Ming, I am not seeing things. The monitor has appeared. My monitor, where have you been all these years? I miss you so much. Liu Jian, holy shit. Brother Yi, is it really you? Brother Yi, it's been 7 years, 7 whole years, and there has been no news about you. Where did you go to make a fortune? Li Meijian, wow, class monitor, I was thinking of hugging you after graduation, but I haven't heard from you at all. Where are you now? Oh, does the class monitor have a girlfriend? Snickering. Jie Xiaoyan, is there any need to ask this? With the class monitor's ability, he can easily come up with hundreds of millions. Why didn't you take action when you were in high school? You missed it. The class monitor must have a girlfriend now. Li Meijian, I'm just kidding. How could the class monitor like me? There were many people who liked the class monitor in high school. Jie Xiaoyan, yes, the monitor was tall and handsome, and he was the top student in the grade. I still remember the way he dunked. He was so handsome. Huang Dao, you only remember that the class monitor was good at playing basketball. Do you remember that our classmate Lin Jiwei was bullied by the class next door, and the class monitor led us to fight? It was so exciting. Yu Ming, I remember, ha 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 ha, it was so exciting. Those brats in class 0 didn't win in a fight, so they wanted to compete with us in studying, but they also lost in studying, ha 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 ha, class monitor. Invincible. Liu Jian, I really miss my high school days. Back then, we were full of youth and passion. We didn't care about the 0 class. We just did it. When the college entrance examination results came out, 3 of the top 10 were from our class. The top 3 were all from our class. The one who contributed the most was our class monitor. Class teacher Chen Jianhua, aham. Liu Jian, and our class teacher, he has made great contributions. Yu Ming, right. The class teacher deserves great credit. Our class monitor is so outstanding. Wasn't he the one who taught him? When Chen Jianhua in front of the screen saw this sentence, the corners of his mouth curled up. Of course not. Gui was his proudest student, and also the most satisfying and outstanding student in his teaching career. No matter how outstanding or talented the students are, they are still taught by me, the teacher, he. Li Meijian, wow, seeing the class monitor appear, all the memories of my high school days came back. Our class hasn't had a reunion since graduation. I suddenly miss everyone so much. Seeing this news, everyone couldn't help but recall their high school days. That was a time that I will miss very much: passion, enthusiasm, perseverance, sweat. Time flies by so fast. In a blink of an eye, it has been 7 years since we graduated from high school, and most of us have already entered society. At that time, I firmly believed that the future is uncertain. You and I are both dark horses. After graduation, we worked hard in our own positions and finally became a screw in society. Recalling the last class when the teacher taught them to suck up to the big shots, I was so arrogant at that time and thought I was the big shot. Only after entering society did I realize that the gap between people is greater than the gap between people and dogs. Is it too late to hug someone's thigh now? Liu Jian, with the class monitor's ability, he must be a big shot now. Maybe he has secretly started a business and has become a billionaire. Let the class monitor treat us and let our class have a good gathering. Most of the classmates at that time had a good relationship with Gui. Gui is the class monitor. He is not only excellent but also down to earth and gets along well with everyone. However, there are also a small number of people who have a bad relationship with Gui. For example, Liu Xiaozhen. In high school, he pursued Lin Jiwei for 3 years, but in the end, the person Lin Jiwei liked was Gui. Even though there had been no news from Gui for 7 years, Lin Jiwei had never changed her mind. No matter how he pursued her, Lin Jiwei did not give him the slightest chance. Today, he has achieved some success. Compared with his classmates, he has opened a company and earns tens of millions of yuan a year. Chapter 54 Good Guy, Original Stockings Lock Throat. He was very curious about how Gui was doing now. Are you richer than me? 3 years of high school plus 7 years after graduation, a full 10 years. Why? Gui and Lin Jiwei haven't had any contact, so why does Gui make her miss him so much? City Center, CBD. Liu Xiaozhen sat in his office, flicked the ash off his cigarette, and wanted to take another puff, but then he felt that the cigarette was boring, so he put it out forcefully. His office is on the 6th floor of the building, offering a close-up view of the city. In order to improve the company's image, he spent a lot of money to rent this place. His CEO's office is decorated in the most high-profile way. Several high-quality imitations of antiques and calligraphy and paintings are hung on the walls of the office. There is a large desk next to the floor window, and all kinds of antiques and luxury goods are neatly placed on the desk. The bookshelf behind the desk is filled with all kinds of books and materials. In a corner of the office, there is a sofa and a coffee table. This is the core area of Beijing City. To be able to use such luxurious decoration in such a location, people who don't know him would think that he has a very strong background. Plus, he is only 25 years old this year. People who come here to discuss cooperation with him for the first time will think that he is the son of a big family who comes out to start a business and experience life. Liu Xiaozhen at Qianfu, you invited the squad leader to join the group. Do you know what the squad leader is doing now? Qianfu, this is not very convenient. Why don't you ask the monitor yourself? Liu Jian, har, do you even need to ask? Brother Yi must be worth over 100 million now. Mr. Liu is also worth several hundred million now. Yu Ming, the richest people in our class right now are probably the class monitor and Mr. Liu. Seeing the heated news in the group, everyone was speculating that the squad leader was worth hundreds of millions. Qianfu felt conflicted. How could you have imagined that such an outstanding squad leader is now worse off than a delivery man like me? He now works as a security guard in a company, wearing a security uniform, and has lost his fighting spirit, content with being a security guard. Just at this moment, 2 messages were sent to Fatty at the same time. One is from Lin Jiwei and the other is from Liu Xiaozhen. Gui drove into a residential area, which was located in a prosperous area of the city. After driving in, he had a feeling of having accidentally entered a paradise. The first thing that catches your eye is a lush green garden landscape, with exquisite flower beds, winding paths and shady trees intertwined. It is roughly estimated that the green area here exceeds 80%. The word arrogant is not enough to describe it. The roads in the community are wide and clean, the street lamps on both sides are uniquely shaped, and the villas on both sides are staggered, each with a unique design. Gui parked the car downstairs of a villa. Yining asked Ian to go back first, leaving only Gui and Chu Yining in the car. At this time, Chu Yining unbuckled his seatbelt, adjusted the seat, and leaned back. Untie shoelaces, kick off shoes, lift legs, put on the dashboard, the whole operation goes smoothly. With her hands crossed in front of her chest, her plump and crispy flesh is squeezed into shape, giving the impression of soft and overlapping peaks. Chu Yining put her feet on Gui's dashboard, and her delicate and white little feet swayed in front of Gui. Under the white light, there was an extreme beauty and temptation. These legs don't need any black or white stockings, they are already top quality. Gui just took a look at them and felt like ants were crawling all over his body. Gui turned his head away and tried not to look at it. If he looked at this thing too much, it would be hard to control himself. As everyone knows, in this situation, the hands have their own ideas. But when I glanced at it, I couldn't help but feel my heart beating faster. This is not the first time Chu Yining has done this. 3 days ago, when they just met, Chu Yining was still wearing a professional hip skirt with black stockings. This girl not only put her feet on his legs, bent her feet, stepped on his thighs and rubbed them slowly, but she also took off her black stockings in front of Gui, choked him, and threatened that she would not let him get off the car unless he was her boyfriend. Black silk rubbing is an ultimate flavor. Taking off the black stockings is another magical experience. It was also the first time for Gui to get into a bridal sedan. He had never experienced such a scene before. As a result, under Chu Yining's coercion and inducement, he agreed to be her boyfriend. What is she doing now? Want to bully people with your legs again? Can you do whatever you want just because you have beautiful legs? Gui, do you remember what I said to you? Chu Yining also remembered what happened in the car when the two of them first met. Her cheeks flushed and her smile was bright and charming. Looking back, it was really too bold at that time, with a real throat choke, she didn't even know how she did that. Chu Yining has an extremely beautiful figure, which can only be described as devilish curves. With her rosy cheeks, she is radiant and beautiful, and does not seem like a product of this world. As he spoke, Chu Yining's feet swayed in front of Gui again. The faint luster reflects the soft skin under the light, and the little feet exude a fragrance that is not musk but is extremely intoxicating. Not only is she pretty, but her little feet also have a faint fragrance. Gui was a little overwhelmed, and immediately freed his hands. When his hands followed their own ideas, he grabbed Chu Yining's ankle in his hand. The touch was delicate and smooth. Because he got closer. The scent that is not quite musk is even stronger, as if it is a mixture of Yining's body odor and a faint smell of sweat. It doesn't smell bad at all. On the contrary, it seems to be more alluring than the body odor itself. How strange. How can something like a girl's feet be so attractive? It's so outrageous and so wrong. What did you say? I don't remember. Gui grabbed Chu Yining's feet in his hands and began to play with them unconsciously. At this time, Chu Yining's cheeks flushed. She wanted to take her feet back, but stopped again, as if it was a happy thing to have her feet played with by him. Chu Yining glanced at Gui sideways, and her white and tender hands pressed down the hem of her skirt. If the angle of view was wrong, it would be too. Her breathing became rapid, and her full and crispy breasts rose and fell with her breathing, presenting a touching scene. Fortunately, Gui's eyes were on her feet, otherwise it would have been too embarrassing. Chu Yining's voice was indifferent and cold, and the royal sister's voice was magnetic and low. I told you, if you slander me again, I will block your mouth with my foot. After saying that, Chu Yining's little feet shook in Gui's palm, and a flash of pride secretly emerged on her pretty face, meaning, I'm going to put my feet in your mouth, are you ready?